Good evening, everyone. I am Jeff McConey, and with me in the booth is Bonstitufa. You are watching here with the Global Sim Racing channel. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. For tonight's race, we are on round 3 of this event at the virtual Stafford Speedway, so we have seen who's strong week in and week out. This week, though, we have a new addition. After a hard-fought fan race on Wednesday night, we have 5 more drivers: Ryan Blanchard, Brad Buble, Anthony Bello, Matthew Kimball, and Mark Stewart, who will all have a chance to race their way into the feature event tonight alongside Stafford's fastest e-drivers. All Phases Renovations has also joined in on the fun, providing the drivers with another incentive besides pride: money. These 55 drivers will be fighting for a share of a $250 purse, with $150 going to our winner, $75 for second, and $25 for third. If you thought that they were racing hard these past few weeks, just imagine what we will see with money on the line. We will have the same format tonight as last week for making the feature race, with 4 heat races and 2 consolation events. Those races are each 10 laps with no caution, so it is a war to survive, as well as finish in those key front spots to advance to the feature. Remember, nobody is locked in here, and we could send any of these big names home. Now let's check out the highlights from last week's race.
They go when the green flag comes out. It is out, and we are underway at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway and the 3-race series on iRacing.
Hodgdon tries to follow. Narducci on his back bumper. They're 3 wide, battling for third. Hodgdon all the way up at the top. Narducci at the bottom. They make contact. They all hold on to it. They're still racing side by side.
Peter Bennett still not able to find his way past Cory DiMatteo. They're able to stay bumper to bumper.
Everything he's got.
Oh, Bennett gets turned! I believe that was Jacob Perry that might have gotten into the back of Bennett, and that brings out the yellow. Peter Bennett might have been DiMatteo's biggest competition. At the same time, though, you got Bryan Narducci. Can't imagine Hodgdon's going to let that 13 car in. Narducci looks inside of Hodgdon. They make contact. Oh, DiMatteo gets turned! And a huge pileup. The leader of the race gets turned, and everybody piles in.
Narducci is going to dive to the bottom. Hodgdon knows this, so he stays low. Oh, Narducci makes a look to the inside. Hodgdon's watching his rear view mirror and just touches the back bumper of DiMatteo. Everyone piles in from there.
Travis Haidar is in second. Cassandra Cole's in third. Where did they come from? They're running 7th, 8th, 9th position. Now all of a sudden they are at the front. Oh, Teddy Hodgdon just got in the wall up in turn 2 to back the pack. Somebody got into him and ended up in the wall. Another car spun out, Cory Casagrande. What will these two do here as they come to the line to take 4 to go? Will Haidar use the bumper, or will he try to dive inside Narducci? We haven't seen the outside line work yet, and Haidar really hasn't changed his line. He goes a little bit higher to turn 1, had to check up a little bit.
3 laps to go now, a caution is out.
The caution was for Ryan Fern. He did spin out. It was him, contact with Andrew Moeller, and I believe Fortin.
Narducci is going to win this race, though. Accelerates down the backstretch coming off of turn 2. Very good race all around. 80 laps complete here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Bryan Narducci is your winner. If you thought that racing was good last week, then we are in for a fantastic show tonight, thanks to All Phases Renovations. Bonza, why don't you give us a rundown of what we can expect to see here tonight?
Well, Jeff, you mentioned the purse that we have now, thanks to All Phases Renovations. The first topic I want to talk about, though, is Ryan Blanchard. He won the feature on Wednesday for the fan/non-drivers event, giving him the chance to race on Friday, and he's been fast throughout the whole entire week. He's top 10 right now in the practice speeds. He won his heat race in the Wednesday event, led pretty much every single lap in the feature. Nobody could really get by him. If he can get a good hot lap like he did on Wednesday and stay up front, I think you have to watch out for him. Second point is Cory DiMatteo. It's very unfortunate that he got spun out in turn 3 late in the race last week. But one thing you got to notice is that he led most of the first 60 laps, if not all the first 60 laps. So can he regain that dominance this week, and can he finish it off? Obviously, he and Teddy Hodgdon, as you saw in the highlights, got together, and then Cory DiMatteo returned the favor later on in that race. Teddy Hodgdon told me it was his fault to begin with, saying that he took blame for getting into Cory DiMatteo in turn 3, but he's moved on from all that. And Cory DiMatteo just told me it's just racing. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the fact there's no incident limit this week. We had an incident limit last week, but this week, no incident limit. So no matter how many times you might hit a car or hit a wall or get off track into the grass, you will not be disqualified for too many incidents. Now that we're done with the first 3 points of the race, we got more to talk about later on. But first, let's give you a quick preview of the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Welcome to Stafford. This half-mile oval was built in 1870 for a different type of horsepower, horse racing, and then automobile racing took over after that. This place is not as flashy or fancy as the half miles that the Cup cars go to today, but this busy oval can still put on a fantastic show full of action for the fans and intense competition for the drivers. Uniquely banked, it poses a challenge for all comers. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 9 degrees, where turns 3 and 4 are banked a little less at 7 degrees. The apron here at Stafford is known for being very wide but flat. Only the bravest of drivers with the utmost grip can make passes down there. Short tracks equal close racing and usually leads to shorter tempers. Keeping calm at Stafford rewards the drivers. It's like the old racing expression, to finish first, you must first finish. Corner exit tends to be the most challenging place on the track, where the fast lane sweeps right out of the corners towards that wall that awaits you. Stafford is an old, worn-out surface, so managing the tires is also key to finding victory lane here. All in all, Stafford poses a fun challenge to drivers, and it's always sure to put on a great show. So settle in, buckle up, it's bound to be a great race.
Now, for those who are tuning in for the first time and are not really familiar with the details of Stafford Motor Speedway, let's give you the track facts. Jeff?
This track is just half a mile long. It's 4 turns just like every other oval, but here is the thing that's interesting. There's 2 different degrees of banking, but let's talk a little bit more about that later. We've got 80 laps here tonight, and in turns 1 and 2, you have 9 degrees of banking. In turns 3 and 4, just 7.5 degrees. You'll see these guys use the apron. They'll use the Nerf bars as well and push other drivers out of the way. Don't be surprised if you hear Bonza or I call out that someone's got all 4 tires on the apron. That means they're making an aggressive move. There have been lots of legendary drivers here at Stafford Motor Speedway, and they all had to cut their teeth and be successful here before moving on. Take a look at Ryan Preece, Ted Christopher, Mike Stefanik, Bob Potter, Bugsy Stevens, Richie Evans, and more. They all raced here, they all succeeded here, but it wasn't easy to do.
And you look at the board at the racetrack, when you get a chance to go to a track, you get the 50 greatest drivers of Stafford Motor Speedway. The list of names on that banner are incredible. There's just so much history and so much prestige on that top 50 list. But now we're going to move forward here, and one of the keys to trying to advance through the heat race is because of the fact that there is no provisionals or people locked in, is you need to have a good lap, or what they call a hot lap. If you can qualify in the top 5, top 10 positions and get a front row start in the heat race, you're in a much better situation, because only the top 5 from each heat race will advance. Then you got 2 consies where the top 3 from each of those will advance. So in the heat races and the consies, we have yellows. The yellow flags do not count. There are no resets. And for the feature event, there will be 3 green, white checkers. So there's a lot that we have to keep an eye on. We got a couple new people here that we haven't seen the last couple weeks, but a whole lot of familiar faces. And we'll just have to see who can come out on top right now during qualifying. And right now, the man on top is Matt Swanson, driver of the number 3 old blue modified tour car. He leads the qualifying session right now at a 19.024. Travis Hydar second, Phillip Jacques third, Marcello Rufrano fourth, Ryan Fern fifth, but that's just for now. You're looking at Robert Stirk right now as he completes a lap. Again, this whole field is separated by about 4/10 during practice. That's 45, at least 45 cars, just separated by less than half a second. It's a very tight field, so the margin of error is very small, as you see.
Brad Buble raced his way into this event, and right now he's the man on top. Take a look at your screen. You'll see Mikey Flynn making a lap. He's had some trouble these past couple weeks, but he is looking to race his way in. He's in that 40 car with 24 paint on the side. Just ran a 1922. So right now, heat races are coming up next. We're taking a look at Joseph Eiler.
Now you're looking at Kyle Johnson. These guys are all completing their laps really quick. Now you're looking at Justin Bren, that 66 car, looking for a little bit more luck this week compared to last week. As he crossed the line, there's less than a minute to go in the time trials. You only have 2 laps. It's not group qualifying. You're all by yourself on the track. You got 2 laps to complete the fastest possible time. Troy Talman clocks in at 3rd, running a 19:03.9. Brad Buble still up on top, doing a great job so far. You're looking at Kyle Ellwood right now in that 37 car. Kyle Ellwood ran a really cool scheme a couple weeks ago in a tribute to Wade Cole in the 33 car. Obviously, we lost Wade Cole a few weeks back. Ellwood trying to clock in. Right now, Teddy Hodgdon has the fastest lap, and there's Ryan Blanchard now. 2nd spot, just 2 1/1000ths of a second off of Teddy Hodgdon's fastest time.
There's a name a lot of you know. David Arute drives that number 75 SK Modified every Friday night. He had a 19:173. That's going to put him a little bit further down on the board. The man on top, though, Teddy Hodgdon, one of 2 people to run under 19 seconds here tonight. The track, it's pretty hot right now, about 100 degrees, sitting right at 98 at the moment. But they are now getting ready for heat number 1, and let's take a look through the field there.
Yeah, looking at the first heat right now, Teddy Hodgdon will start in the 1st spot. Mike Christopher Jr. 2nd. Dylan Izzo in 3rd. Phil Jacques in 4th. Phil's looking for some good luck. He calls his luck disastrous right now. Peter Bennett, great run last week, finishing in 3rd after spinning out earlier in that race. Great comeback for him. He'll start in 5th. Jon Puleo 6th. Tony Membrino Jr. in 7th. George Bessette Jr. in 8th. Mike Flynn in 9th. J.B. Fortin in 10th. Timmy Catalano in 11th. Andrew Less in 12th. And then you got Cory DiMatteo in 13th.
Cory DiMatteo did not put down a qualifying time. He will be starting at the end of this heat race. Only 5 of these drivers are going to advance, so we will be keeping a close eye on that battle. Right now, Peter Bennett sits in 5th, and he's going to have to hold that position. The top 5 of these drivers will advance to the feature and will not have to worry about racing their way in through a Consi event. These guys are rolling, but Peter Bennett gets a little bit of a tap. Everyone is moving now.
Now, one row to keep an eye on is Phil Jacques in the outside that 2nd row. We've seen it last week and we saw it the week before. The guy on the outside row, right before the final transfer spot, seems to be snake bit because that outside line has quite not come in. It's not very effective. You might be able to hold your own on the outside line, but in terms of making a pass, really haven't seen that. In fact, the only one I've seen do that was Brad Buble in the heat race on Wednesday. He made a pass on the outside on the 1st lap, taking the lead and not looking back, winning the heat race, which was very impressive. But otherwise, we haven't really seen it be very effective. So watch Phil Jacques in that 77 car. He's looking for some good luck after last week when he ended up crashing in the heat and also drove through the grass trying to get to pit road in a funny moment during the Consi race.
He was certainly not happy with himself after that moment. He took to Facebook. If you see these guys over on social media, make sure to give them a follow, as well as all of the social medias that we will show periodically throughout the race for the crew behind the scenes here. But these guys are getting ready to roll. Teddy Hodgdon, we call him out in front, not rarely. He's usually out here in front with Mike Christopher Jr. on his outside. Right now, Dylan Izzo putting his bumper right on him. Hodgdon is rolling. No advantage to either line. Everybody is door to door.
Hodgdon will get the edge entering turn number 1 as he takes a very shallow entry, cutting through the apron. He'll come off of turn 2 with a half a car length lead over Mike Christopher Jr. 2x2 for 1st, 2x2 for 4th, but Phil Jacques does get in line. That's critical. He does get in line in 4th spot. The battle for that transition 5th spot is between Jon Puleo and Peter.
They are side by side right now.
We got a spin. Yeah, we got J.B. Fortin that just spun the back of the pack. No harm, though. He didn't hit anything. But it does bring out the first yellow of the heat, and once again, caution laps do not count for the heat race. Looking at the replay here, that's Mikey Flynn, the 24. Looks like those two got together, and as a result, J.B. Fortin goes around. Nothing doing, though, in terms of damage and such, so good break for Fortin. No resets. No problem for him, though. He'll just keep it on going.
The thing about these modifieds is that they have a whole lot of power and a whole lot of downforce, and when they get bent out of shape at all, you get touched even the slightest bit, and that car's not pointed the way you're expecting it to be, it just goes right around on you. The only way to save these things is to lift off the throttle, and you're losing a lot of time there. So with these cars, once you see someone get a little bit sideways, it's very difficult to save it, as seen right there. Just the tiniest of taps sent him around.
Now, Mike Christopher Jr. is scored as the leader. Teddy Hodgdon second. Phil Jacques did a great job getting in line, not losing any more positions. Started fourth, held the fourth spot. He's got Jon Puleo right behind him. But Peter Bennett in that sixth position. We saw how fast he was last week. He was running second or third for most of the race before Jacob Perry turned him around in turn one. And he still came back to finish in the podium. A very impressive comeback. Right now he's on the outside looking in. And once again, no one's locked in. Even if you're one of the top drivers in Stafford in real life or one of the top iRacers in real life, it does not mean you're safe. If anything happens, we saw Mikey Flynn a couple weeks ago. Didn't make the feature because he got involved in a couple crashes in the heat and the consi. We just have to wait and see who the surprise might be this week as to not making it into the feature.
There are 55 drivers here, and all of them want to advance. All of them are talented enough to advance. It just all comes down to who's going to be able to do it. That question will be answered once we get through the consolation events, but there's always some hurt feelings after we send some people home. But until then, 5 people will advance from this heat race here, and it's, so far, a pretty good one.
Looking at the field rundown right now, Mike Christopher Jr. is the leader as they take one to go. Teddy Hodgdon in second, Dylan Izzo in third, Phil Jacques in fourth, Jon Puleo fifth, Peter Bennett in sixth, Tony Membrino Jr. in seventh, George Bessette Jr. eighth, Mikey Flynn ninth, Cory DiMatteo in 10th, Timmy Catalano in 11th, and you got JB Fortin after the spin. He's in the last spot.
They are lined back up here, though, getting ready to go green. With Mike Christopher Jr., he is the leader. Getting rolling here, Mike Christopher Jr. gets the advantage. He's going to be in front, fully clear of Teddy Hodgdon. Right now, there's a battle for fourth. They're side by side, but the top 3 are all in a row. Phil Jacques on the wall there.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of positions because of that. Oh, he just got tapped from behind by George Bessette Jr., but he saved a nice save. Oh, he's sideways again. This time he gets hit from behind and spins around. Collects JB Fortin, but they're both in the infield grass, so that may not bring a yellow out. So we just continue on racing. Mike Christopher Jr. continues to lead an intense battle for fourth. Tony Membrino, Mikey Flynn, Jon Puleo, and George Bessette Jr. in a foursome there off of turn 4.
Mikey Flynn muscles.
Oh, he got trouble.
Membrino goes around.
Timmy Catalano flipped over as well. Once again, there's no yellow though. Timmy Catalano is stranded in the middle of the track right now, and now he's gone to the bottom, right at the edge of the grass, and now the yellow comes out just as he gets going. Wow, a lot happened there very quickly.
It was some hard side-by-side racing. Let's take a look at the replay, though, and we will see what happened. Right there, you see Jon Puleo on the outside, or Timmy Catalano on the outside, excuse me. He's bumped bars down the backstretch. Jon Puleo gets bumped out of the way. Mikey Flynn and Tony Membrino make some contact coming off the corner. Just absolute mayhem. Timmy Catalano went around all on his own, flipped it over, and landed on all 4 wheels.
Yeah, it's the open wheel physics right there. You hit the wall, and even though no one else hit you, just physics of the open wheels make you climb up that wall. I mean, everybody was hitting everybody in that half a lap, and that's quite a ride, to say the least. But we'll see how much damage they have. Looked like it started in the front, though, with Jon Puleo and Tony Membrino. They got together. Then Mikey Flynn got together with George Bessette Jr. Just everybody got into each other, and eventually just accordioned back to DiMatteo and Timmy Catalano. Timmy Catalano, the big victim in that one, ending up on his roof.
Timmy Catalano had a large wreck earlier this season doing some racing during the offseason and suffered a concussion, but he's back. He's feeling much better if you're following along with him on Facebook. So that is always great news to hear. It's absolutely amazing. The safety equipment that these drivers wear, it works. Plain and simple, it works. We saw it with Ryan Newman down at Daytona. Timmy Catalano, I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, where just a concussion after a major wreck, you feel a whole lot better. Thankfully, virtually, he's doing all right here. Flips that car over and keeps it rolling.
Talk about disastrous luck with Phil Jacques. Well, he's on pit road right now, and looks like he's not doing too well. He's been stuck on pit road for a while, so we'll see what happens with him, but he's just laying there all by his lonesome in the pits. As we come off of turn 4, we'll see if they get one to go this time by. We'll give you another full field rundown. Mike Christopher Jr. is the leader. He held off on that restart before the multitude of accidents that happened the previous lap. Teddy Hodgdon in second. Dylan Izzo remains in third. Mikey Flynn up to fourth. George Bessette Jr. now is in the fifth spot. He's got the final transfer position. Tony Membrino on the outside looking in sixth. Jon Puleo was in a good situation. Now he's back in seventh. Cory DiMatteo in eighth. Peter Bennett back in ninth. JV Forts in 10th. Amy. The name is Amy, but it's actually Timmy Catalano in 11th. Phillip Jacques lying on pit road for the last couple laps. He is in the 12th position.
That is correct. So iRacing right now is showing Timmy Catalano as Amy Catalano. So on the scoring column, you will just see Catalano. So if we say Amy, we mean Timmy. Just excuse us. We are going through. We got a whole lot of drivers to know up here, and sometimes we're not perfect. I mean, I think we're pretty darn close sometimes, but we're not perfect. So I hope you all will understand there. Right now, though, sitting in that transfer position is the 39 of George Bessette Jr. They call him Mad Dog, and he's got Tony Membrino on his outside and Jon Puleo right behind. Remember, only the top 5 are going to advance here, and the pace car dives off. Let's see what happens.
Mike Jr. gets the jump off of turn 4. He's going to try and clear Hodgdon before they even get to the line, and he does so. So Mike Christopher Jr. holds the first spot. Dylan Izzo is going to look inside Teddy Hodgdon for the second position. Behind them in his lonesome in fourth spot is Mikey Flynn as they come off of turn 2. The battle remains for second spot between the 04 and the 55.
Nobody's ever told Mikey Flynn, hey, dial it back a little bit. Or if they did, he sure didn't listen. So right now, he's going to follow along with Dylan Izzo and try and get to that inside of Teddy Hodgdon. Mikey Flynn is going to be fighting for every single spot. Remember, at the beginning, he started all the way back in 9th. And right now, he's fighting side by side with Hodgdon for 3rd. And he's looking like he's going to get it here coming off the corner. Now, Hodgdon's going to fight on the outside. And right now, George Bessette Jr. is looking in.
Got trouble. Tony Membrino just spun the front straightaway. I think he and DiMatteo got together. It was more of a half spin. Tony Membrino did straighten it out, but unfortunately, the caution does come out here with just 3 laps to go. Jon Puleo was up to 6th, but he got loose the previous lap off of turn 2 and lost a lot of ground. So it did break for him. He has another chance to get past Jordan to pick up that final transfer spot as you play. That's Tony Membrino on the outside of Cory DiMatteo. Jon Puleo in front of them. It looks like Membrino might have gotten a little bit loose off the board, tried to straighten it out, and DiMatteo was right there. Again, a half spin, he kept going, but unfortunately it was enough to bring the yellow out.
That big patch of grass right below turn 1, we call that Green Acres after Glen Reen. He's not afraid to go down there and use it. He mows the grass down there, we like to say. Tony Membrino very, very nearly got into it, though, but able to keep it out of it and keep this thing rolling. Right now, though, Mikey Flynn, he got scored 3rd. Dylan Izzo 2nd. Mike Christopher Jr. still your lead.
Speaking of Green Acres, I asked Phil Jacques about his little excursion in the grass last week, and he said, because Glen Reen is not in the race last week, I just wanted to help Green Acres out and mow the grass myself, and Glen Reen got a good kick out of that, so gotta love it when these guys have fun, busting each other.
Glen Reen has had computer issues these past couple weeks, but now he's able to get it all working, he said. I don't know what exactly was wrong with it. I think something with the flux capacitor, he was saying. But it is all working now. Glen Reen is back, and he will be racing tonight, trying to race his way in, though. Remember, nobody's locked in.
And Glen Reen was fast a couple weeks ago. You might say he hit everything but the pace car, but it's not like it was all of his own doing. He ended up starting 21st, and despite multiple wrecks that he got in, he finished up into the 2nd spot. He did really well. So last week, you wonder if he had a chance if the computers did not, act mean to him, if he would have had a chance to win, because obviously the topic last week was who could beat Narducci and Hodgdon, and we saw that with guys like Cory DiMatteo and Peter Bennett competing up in the front with those guys, despite Narducci coming out with the win at the end. So we wonder if Glen Reen, as long as he can get into the future, is he going to have a chance to come out on top as well?
Speaking of Mr. Reen, he just shot me a message on Facebook. It was a bad GPU in his machine. So Glen Reen is listening. If you want to say something to him, I'm sure he's watching the chat as well. Go ahead and say hello. We got a lot of people over there in the chat. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to tell your friends. And once we go back racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway, make sure to tune in. And actually, once we're back there racing, make sure to show up, because without people in the stands, we would have nothing to do on Friday nights. Also, on Friday nights, it's all possible because of our sponsors. All Phases Renovations is our sponsor here tonight. They're putting up a purse of $250. They're located in southeastern Mass. Go ahead and give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs. Your source for outdoor construction needs, such as patios, pool renovations, outdoor bar and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. You can find them on Facebook. Go and like their page over there. Right now, the lights are off, though. Let's get back racing.
They're all doubled up right now. Mike Christopher Jr. on that inside line. We'll just see who is going to be able to advance. That's the main story. George Bessette Jr. is in that last spot in 5th. Jon Puleo gets another chance after losing a lot of ground before the last caution. He gets a big jump underneath George Bessette Jr. He might take the 5th spot before they hit the line. Oh, they touch! And Puleo wrecks. They're both upside down. Puleo and Bessette Jr. upside down. Timmy Catalano's involved. Tony Membrino's involved. A huge pileup for that final spot. Mike Christopher Jr. is the leader right now.
The time limit has elapsed on this race. The race is over once they hit the line. Mike Christopher Jr., Dylan Izzo, Mikey Flynn, Teddy Hodgdon, and Cory DiMatteo are going to be your 5 that advance. They don't have a thing to worry about, but Peter Bennett, J.B. Fortin, Timmy Catalano, George Bessette Jr., Tony Membrino, Jon Puleo, and Phil Jacques are all going to have to try and fight their way in through the consolation events.
Wow, that was dramatic to say the least. Puleo had an incredible restart underneath of George Bessette Jr., and he had him clear the line. Looks like those two kind of converged, and now both of them are going to have to wait for the consolation race. But now we're getting ready for the second heat out of 4. Ryan Blanchard, the winner of the Wednesday fan race, will start on the pole. Brad Bubel, a great run on Wednesday as well. We saw him passing the outside in the heat race on Wednesday. He'll start in 2nd. Troy Talman in 3rd, Bryan Narducci in 4th, Matt Vassar in 5th, Kyle Johnson 6th, Justin Bren 7th, Cory Casagrande 8th, Daltin McCarthy in 9th, Tyler Leary in 10th, Paul Buzel 11th, Kevin Crosby 12th, and Dylan Kopech is in the leaderboard, but he's actually our race director. So there's 12 cars in the second heat.
Matt Vassar is starting 5th. We call him the Slim Reaper, and he found me on iRacing last week, and he said, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. I love the RAR guys, the rent-a-race car guys, but I don't run out of their shop anymore. But a lot of love to them, so that was my mistake last week. I said he was running out of that shop. That is no longer the case, but Matt Vassar, the Slim Reaper, is now out there in 5th place. He's the transfer spot, so he's feeling a little bit of the fire, and we'll see if he's able to hold everyone off.
Wait, Jeff, I thought everyone had a bone to pick with you on iRacing.
Everyone, yeah, a lot of these guys have a bone to pick with me on iRacing. But usually, it's because I've beaten them so badly in a race, but I'm just saying, no. If you see one of us out there on iRacing, make sure to say hello.
But looking up at the front right now, I want to talk about Ryan Blanchard because he was pretty convincing in that Orange 9 car on Wednesday. He was dominant, led every lap practically. Ryan Blanchard is a familiar face to Stafford. He actually was the spotter for Steven Kopchik last season, his first full season as a spotter for that 21 SK modified team. 17-year-old from Bethlehem, Connecticut, and he also spots for Joey Cipriano in the Tour Type mods owned by Ted Anderson. Also, Ryan Blanchard is Chase Downing's cousin, so he has a lot of connections to racing, a lot of connections to Stafford, and he's a familiar face in the paddock.
That must be why he's running out front here, though. He's going to lead the field to green in heat race number 2 and try and race his way in. Wouldn't that be something, though? We've got 2 of the guys that race their way in, 2 of the fans that race their way in. Right now it's going green. Let's see what these guys can do and if they can finish top 5. Coming to the line, Wolfpack Motorsports on that rear bumper. Everyone's staring at it as the 9 car gets rolling, but they're side by side all the way back. There's a little bit of contact with Tyler Leary, but right now all eyes are on the front as Bryan Narducci and Matt Vassar are near side by side. The top 5 are pulling away.
Yeah, Blanchard clears the field, holds onto the lead as they come off of 4 to complete the first lap of the heat race. We'll see if they can make it through the first couple laps clean, unlike the first. The battle for second right now is between Troy Talman and Brad Bubel. Talman drives it in deep. They make contact. They door each other a bit, but nothing doing in terms of an accident. They hold on. A lot of contact going in the back of the pack, but nonetheless, the battle continues for second spot. Bubel gets a shot from behind. Looks like he got a shot from Narducci and washes up the track. What a tough start for Bubel from second all the way back to the 6th position.
He got a shot to the back bumper from Bryan Narducci, welcoming him to the big show. Let's see if the favor gets returned here as they are now right behind Ubel was quick. Let's see if he's going to be able to get back to Narducci here. Keep an eye on that. He's the odd man out. He needs that 5th place spot.
You're right now, on board the backup Bryan Narducci as he looks back on that 6th position with Brad Ubel. Right now, the first side-by-side on the track is Narducci looking to the inside of Kyle Johnson. Johnson shut the door on Narducci though, and that allows Ubel to reel in a bit on that blue 01 car. Right now, we have 4 laps in the book. There's 6 laps to go. Up front, Blanchard's just pulling away.
Ubel gets a little bit sideways and has to check up, but he lost a lot of ground. It's about 10 car lengths back to Narducci now. He needs something big to happen. Everyone out here is running the same setup. It's a fixed setup race. This is all about driving talent. Let's take a look and ride along with Ubel, though, as he tries to run down Narducci. You see that the big gap in front of him. He's doing everything he can to hold on to that car. Anytime he's turning that steering wheel to the right, it means the car's loose and he's trying not to spin out.
Yeah, the setup here, Stafford, is generally pretty tight, but if you get hold too much on the wheel, it will, catch on you. You might have to overcorrect it. It'll snap loose on your center exit off the corner. Right now, Narducci's right on the back bumper of Kyle Johnson. That is the battle for the 4th spot. Narducci has a couple car lanes on Brad Ubel right now, so he's got a little bit of room to work with as Blanchard continues to pull away. You're riding on board the back end of Kyle Johnson as Narducci takes another look on the inside. There's 3 laps to go in the second heat right now. The top 3 have sort of pulled away from the rest of the pack. Brad Ubel just not able to find a way to reel in Narducci.
Top 10 toughest materials in the world. I think at the top of that list is whatever Bryan Narducci's front bumper is made of. He's been using that all night here. He got to the 21. Now he's showing a little bit to the 88. Getting right up there this time around. He's not afraid to use that front bumper, both in real life and on iRacing here. But he only needs that 5th position. He's got it. He's the top 5 advance, so he's right where he needs to be. He doesn't need to go out and do anything crazy here in these next couple laps.
Yeah, the white flag is out right now for the second heat as Narducci's right on the bumper of Johnson. Blanchard is leading by about a second over Troy Talman. Vassar comfortable in 3rd. Kyle Johnson in 4th. Narducci right on the back bumper of Johnson, but no need to push the limit. He's in that final transfer spot. Racing win the second heat. Talman, Vassar, Johnson, Bell, Bren, Casagrande, Leary, Buzel, McCarthy, and Crosby will all have to try and get their way into the feature through the Consolation Race.
Going over to heat race number 3, on the pole is Jacob Perry with Matt Swanson in the 3 car on his outside. Joseph Eilert will start 3rd, Kyle Ellwood in 4th. Marcello Rufrano is 5th. Jeff Rocco is 6th. Mark Burke in 7th. David Arute in 8th. Dan Butler 9th. Sal Acardi 10th. RJ Surdell has had some rough luck. He starts 11th. Joshua Carey in 12th. And Andrew Muller in 13th. You saw Ryan Blanchard win that last heat race. You saw on the back bumper Wolfpack Motorsports. If you race the modifieds here on iRacing, the official races often enough, you've definitely seen that logo on some back bumpers. They are a very strong race team, and week in and week out for the official races, anywhere you go, they're going to be competitive.
Now, unfortunately for Andrew Muller, he had a glitch on his computer happen, and right now he's not on the grid, so he may not even be able to compete tonight. And Josh Carey right now is kind of stalled in the front straightaway. Now he gets the car started and going. But yeah, Andrew Muller not gridding up. He had a computer glitch. Maybe he should talk to Glen Reen since Glen Reen got his problem solved. And we'll see if Muller's able to make it back in time for the Consolation Race. But Muller's one of the faster guys in this field right now, so that's huge if he's not able to make it.
Glen Reen is a man of many talents. He can mow a lawn with a race car, and he can fix computers. So if you've got any computer needs, well, maybe not hit him up, because it took him a couple weeks to get it fixed. I kid, of course. Glen Reen, he will be coming up here shortly, trying to race his way in. But all the focus now is here on this 22 car. He's got a big weight on his shoulders if he wants to go out and continue to lead this race from where he's starting. So right now, Marcello Rufrano, though, starting in 5th, he's got the biggest burner on his back end because he needs to hold that position and not let anyone by.
Yeah, but he hadn't raced in a while on iRacing, and we'll see if he gets faster when he gets adapted to it again. As the green flag comes out, we got trouble in the back of the pack. Couple cars spinning down to the infield grass, but because they're in the grass, there will be no yellow to Josh Carey, who just got the car started, and Dan Butler. So tough luck for those guys. Meanwhile, up front, they're 3 wide in turn 3, and they're going to wreck as a result. A huge pile at the 77 of Mark Burke. There's a full caution in the air and lands it, and somehow there's no yellow. They're wrecking more off of turn 4. Half the field is piled up off that corner. We'll see if anyone can keep it going. The caution's still not out. There's still one car sideways off of turn 4. That's Marcello Rufrano, who we just talked about. He started in the 5th spot, and he's in dead last now as they work their way back to the start-finish line to complete lap number 2. It's Jacob Perry.
Surdell goes around! And that does not bring out the caution. He stopped. There's the caution.
There
he was stopped on track. My goodness, that was absolute mayhem.
And they're wrecking again at turn 1. Josh Carey just got together with another car, Dan Butler. They just got together off of turn 4, and they spin under caution in turn 1. Oh, mercy. What a start.
My goodness. Well, you wanted action, folks, and you got it right here. Everybody's trying to make the race. They were 3 wide going into the turn. It was too little, too late. Oh, my goodness. That 77 car went up and around and flipped and landed on all 4 wheels. He's got some heavy engine damage. Let's ride on board Sal Acardi, though, and watch what happened here. This was all right in front of him.
He just got nowhere to go. He got slammed from the driver's side by Mark Burke, who ended up flipping over. A full flip in the air and landed it. I guess I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It could have been a little bit smoother. But speaking of Burke, there's just a ton of smoke pouring out of that car on pit road. He's not going to be able to compete for the rest of this heat race. He'll have to try and compete through the Consolation later on tonight. Sal Acardi's also on pit road. Kyle Ellwood got some damage. He's on pit road right now. Josh Carey stayed on the track despite spinning twice in a matter of a lap and a half. Looks like Dan Butler is still on track. Marcello's still on track. Joseph Eiler got a bit of that one as well. He got a bit of the wreck in turn 3 with Mark Burke and the rest of the field. But it looks like only 3 cars on pit road. Everyone else is going to try and stick it out there. But it was also a big break because the field was extremely spread out. It was the top 3, and then everybody else was just spread out within 3/4 of a lap. So we'll see what happens in this restart. But that was a very chaotic start, to say the least.
Chaotic is almost an understatement. Right now, Joseph Eilert is now sitting in 5th place. Marcello Rufrano, unfortunately, started in 5th. He's all the way back to 8th. The biggest mover so far, though, from 10th to 4th is Sal Acardi. He's sitting in 4th place right now, as timing and scoring shows it. But it's going to be all sorts of mixed up here as people hit pit road. And right now, we are getting word he actually is in the pit, so he's not going to be taking the flag from 4th. But timing and scoring is trying to catch up with these guys. These laps don't count right now, so they can pit and get work done, and just like at Stafford.
How about Jeff Rocco running in 3rd spot right now? Obviously the brother of Keith Rocco, and must there be much said about Keith Rocco? Obviously Kid Rock, multi-time champion Stafford, but good job for Jeff in the start to avoid all that chaos in the beginning. He's running in the 3rd position right now. That 5th spot is Joseph Eiler, and you just gotta wonder, how much damage do these cars have? Because even though they didn't pit, Jeff, you know, being an iRacer yourself, some damage can do more than what you can. Some damage does more than what you think in terms of how it affects your performance and your top speed.
It absolutely does. If that engine gets damaged but doesn't blow up, you won't see any smoke. You won't really have any indication. The only way you'll be able to tell is when you put the clutch in, your RPMs will be lower than you're expecting. So I don't see anyone that's too worried about that. We'd be seeing them slowing down and just coasting. But the field is trying to get all lined up here as the lights on the pace car are out. They're ready to go back green with Jacob Perry leading the way.
Yeah, Matt Swanson 2nd, Jeff Rocco in 3rd, RJ Surdell 4th. Running in 5th is Joseph Eiler. Running in 6th spot is Dan Butler. Marcello Rufrano in 7th, Josh Carey in 8th. We have a couple more cars on pit road. Green flag goes in the air. And a pretty spread out start there as they head into turn number 1 right now. Jacob Perry leads Matt Swanson into the corner. The battle right now is RJ Surdell gets knocked up the racetrack. He got knocked up the track by Marcello Rufrano. Rufrano right now trying to get in that transfer spot. He's in the 5th position as they head towards turn 4.
Everyone is fighting for every position, and RJ Surdell gets into the wall. Josh Carey goes around. Surdell is riding the wall like a skateboard. He comes back down. Green flag stays out.
Yeah, they both did a 360 and go, so they just keep on going. No yellow. Right now up front, Jacob Perry has a rear view mirror full of Matt Swanson, that old blue 3 car. You're riding on board Matt Swanson right now. Jeff Rocco's about 3 or 4 car lengths behind the 3 car. The top 3 in good position, the top 4 actually. Joseph Eilert in 4th, a couple car lengths further back from Rocco. And Marcello Rufrano, he's got a lot of space between him and Dan Butler, about a full second between those 2 cars for the final transfer spot.
if you want to know something interesting, Matt Swanson right now, his sponsor is watching. Leary, the owner of All Phases Renovations, is the owner of Matt Swanson's tri-track cars. So he is out there trying to make his sponsor happy and win some of the money back that his sponsor is putting up. Right now, though, he's running second in this heat race. Top 5 will advance, sitting in that 5th spot. Take a look, though, with Matt Perry, as he's got a mirror full of Matt Swanson.
Yeah, there's 3 laps to go right now in this third heat, 2.5 now. Perry was very fast last week. He was sent to the end of the line during the feature, though, because he got into Peter Bennett and spun him out. Still came back to finish in the top 5, though, so we saw a lot of comebacks last week. Jacob Perry still holding about a car length on Matt Swanson. Marcello Rufrano still in good spot right now. 2.5 advantage over Dan Butler for that final transfer spot. As they come off a board, they'll be taking the white flag.
That's exactly what Jacob Perry wants to see. He wants to win this heat race and get on with it because he is getting run down by Matt Swanson. Their lap times, well, Swanson's a little bit quicker, about half a tenth of a second quicker. Not much, but when you're riding within about half a car length of each other, that's real close. Jacob Perry's going to win this. Matt Swanson in second, Jeff Rocco third, Joseph Eilert fourth, Marcello Rufrano fifth. That leaves Dan Butler, Joshua Carey, RJ Surdell, Sal Acardi, Mark Burke, and Kyle Ellwood all needing to race their way in the consolation events.
Yeah, about half the field finished that heat. That was a lot, to say the least, but we're getting ready for our 4th and final heat race before our 2 consolation events. Looking at the lineup for the final heat race, Matthew Kimball, who advanced from the Wednesday fan race, will be on the pole. Cassandra Cole, a great run last week, finishing 6th. She'll start in 2nd. Travis Hyder, a great comeback from a spin last week, finishing in the 2nd spot. Might have had a chance in Narducci if there wasn't a late caution at the end. He'll start in 3rd. Robert Stirk in 4th. Ryan Fern 5th. Pete Thickett 6th. Glen Reen 7th, Mark Alkas in 8th, Daniel Coutu 9th, Anthony Bello, another one that advanced from Wednesday, starts in the 10th spot, Mark Stewart, another one from Wednesday's event that advanced, 11th.
Those are going to be all of your starters. The top 11 have taken the grid here. 5 of them will advance. Ryan Fern has been putting in a lot of time practicing. He live streams his work over on Facebook. So if you want to follow along with that, it's his personal page, and then as well as Fern Motorsports. So he's got a good season coming up this year. He's excited for it. If you want to follow along with his iRacing action, though, go find him on Facebook.
I don't know if anyone caught that in the stream, but yes, Glen Reen went through the grass in turn 1 when they gridded up. I guess he can't help it being part of Reen Acres. He's got mowed along at some point. Better at the pace lap, I guess, than during the race, right?
I think that might have been a bit of a nod towards all the fans that are watching. It's really hard not to love the guy. He's got his paint scheme all loaded up. That 17 car is looking good here and looking awfully quick. There he goes through the grass again. Mr. Glen Reen taking it on. Always a showman, putting it through Reen Acres just to show us some love.
I'm just glad he knows what a GPU is. Anyways, quick story on Mark Alkas. He got disqualified last week because his internet connection was really bad. He was blinking badly. He's hardwired for tonight's race, so hopefully those internet connection issues will come to an end. A lot of bumping there as they came off turn 4. The green flag is where they go, and there they go. Cassandra Cole got knocked from behind, but right now they remain side by side into turn number 1. Matthew Kimball will clear Cassandra for the lead off of 2. The battle for second is between Travis Hyder and Cassandra Cole.
They're battling for third as well. Ryan Fern gets his left sides down on the apron. He takes a look at Cassandra Cole now, coming off of turn 4. A little bit of contact. He blocks the 38, goes to the bottom, thinks better of it. Here comes Glen Reen on the outside, trying to make something happen. That's awful tough to do here, though. Let's see if he dives it to the bottom. He does. He dives it in deep and gets into the 38. Glen Reen is making something happen, though, but he's all the way up to 5th. They're wrecking behind.
Yeah, Pete Thickett just spun out. Robert Stirk spun out. Daniel Coutu also goes around, but they're all in the infield grass, so once again, the caution doesn't come out. Wow, that was a dive bomb move from Glen Reen, but somehow they kept it straight. At least mid-pack. In the back of the pack, it didn't quite work out. But right now, looking at the front, Matthew Kimball continues to lead, but Travis Hyder is right there. Cassandra Cole in 3rd. Ryan Fern in 4th. Ryan Fern was lucky he didn't get clipped by Glen Reen on that dive bomb attempt in turn 3. The final transfer spot, does go to Glen Reen as you're riding on board the leader, Matthew Kimball. Right now, there's 4 laps complete, 6 laps to go in the heat.
Travis Hydar is really trying to make something happen here. He's got Cassandra Cole on his back bumper. We'll see. We know the move typically in Stafford comes when you dive it hard into turn 3. You lift late and you use the other guy as your brake pedal. That is the standard move par for the course. Keith Rocco uses it a whole lot. That's his trademark move. We'll see if Travis Hydar is going to take advantage of it, though. Maybe take a page out of his playbook. He's awful close. He dives it low. Drives it in deep. Caution's out, though.
Yeah, I got a couple cars around in turn 2. Robert Stirk was one of them, Mark Stewart the other one, so that does bring out the yellow and bunches the field up. But that top 4 was pretty bunched up, so we'll check the replay here on Robert Stirk and see what happened. Really tough start for Stirk because he got knocked around in every part of the track, and of course he was the one that got knocked up the track by Glen Reen. Let's see what happened here in turn number 1. He's inside of Mark Stewart. Looks like a little bit of neck code, but the two end up in the end getting together, and they both spin off of turn 2.
Reen didn't just drop the hammer there on the start. He threw it to the ground as hard as he could. He gained the 2 spots that he needed from where he started to be locked in right now if the race were to end at the moment. He's sitting in 5th place. He needs to hold that position. But knowing Glenn, I don't think he's going to be happy with 5th. I don't think he's going to be happy with 2nd. He hates to lose more than he likes to win, and that is exactly what it takes to get as many wins as he has at Stafford and earn the reputation that he has. He's an aggressive driver, but he's smart. He'll be able to make something happen here because he's already up to 5th with only 5 more laps to go in this heat race.
Yeah, but at the same time, you gotta think big picture to imagine because he's in that 5th spot. Do you really want to risk it and get into somebody else for the 4th position when there's nothing to gain from that in the big picture? We saw that happen Wednesday in the feature race with the fan race. Ryan Borges turned around Aaron Clemens. They were battling for a top 3 position. Borges ended up crossing the line, advancing to the final event on Friday. But because of the contact, he got black flagged and ended up finishing as the last car in the lead lap. So as a result, he didn't make it. And Mark Stewart, who finished 6th, was given the 5th position. He advanced. So Dylan Kopech, our race director, you got to be careful with him. He's not afraid to lay down the hammer. So gotta be careful, think big picture. If you're Glen Reen, do you really want to try that move again, or do you want to try and settle in the 5th spot? Because he was pulling away from the 6th position, that being Mark Alkas.
Yes, you absolutely, if you're Glen Reen, you want to pull that move again. Why? Because you're Glen Reen. He's going to make something happen. That man is not going to be happy with 5th place. He's going to give it everything he's got, I think. And right now, if I'm Ryan Fern, I'm a bit nervous. If I see him make a dive bomb move, I might just let him go and ride behind.
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Fern was the one that put that big block on Robert Stirk the lap before Glen Reen did his move in turn 3, and it was a very massive block at that. Kind of surprised he ended up in one piece. Looking at the front, though, the pace car does pull off. The leader, Matthew Kimball, gets the jump off in turn 4. Travis Hydar will settle in 2nd spot. Cassandra Cole 3rd. Ryan Fern does get in line behind Cassandra in the 4th spot. The battle for 5th is between Reen and Alkas, but Alkas slides at the track. Now he's got to deal with the heat ticket.
They are side by side, bumping a little bit. That 99 car has the advantage to the inside, and he's going to use it. Glen Reen working his way up to the bumper of Ryan Fern. They are battling for 4th there. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy quite yet, as Ryan Fern, though, gets all 4 tires down on the
Pete Thicket just got turned. They were 3 wide in turn 1. Pete Thicket got turned. Trying to see who was the one that got into him. It was Anthony Bello in the 51 car that made it 3 wide in the bottom, and there was just not enough room. And as a result, Pete Thicket goes around. Somehow Alkas did not get turned along with Pete Thicket. We're going to go on board here with Pete Thicket. He got a little bit sideways off of 4, and Bello looked to the inside to make it 3 wide. It's just not enough space, and as a result, around goes Pete.
Did a cool little burnout there, though, to whip it back around and get it pointed straight. Putting on a bit of a show. Right now, he's trying to make the show and not have to worry about racing his way in through the consolation events. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Right now, let's take a look on with Cassandra Cole. She's sitting in 3rd right now. She's been battling hard with Travis Hydar. We'll see how they end up working it out. The advantage at Stafford is on the inside line. It's much easier to make a pass on the bottom than trying to roll the outside. So she'll have that advantage starting in 3rd place here once they go back green. Also on the inside, Glen Reen. He's going to be starting 5th. He's still sitting in that transfer spot, though, so it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on him.
Anthony Bello was sent to the back of the line for that contact with Thicket, and as Bello was backing off to get to the end of the line, Pete Thicket came up on Bello and gave him a little side swipe off of turn 4. Nothing major, just a minor little hello, I didn't appreciate that, and kept on going. So obviously Pete not happy with what Bello did there, making a turn 1 3-wide move that ended up hurting Pete Thicket. But looking back in the front, the thing now with these restarts, like I mentioned before, the original start, the green flag decides when you can go. With the restarts, once the pace car pulls off and you get in the middle of 3 and 4, the leader can go at will. So Matthew Kimball can go whenever he wants, and because he's on that inside line, he starts off about a groove and a half off the bottom and then just cuts it straight down, basically to the apron as they come off of turn 4, and that's what helps clear the leader from the second place cars. So we'll see if he does it again. The last couple restarts, Haidar has been able to get in line though. Cassandra has left enough room for that 58 car to file into that second spot. And again, if you're Travis, if you're Cassandra, do you really need to race hard?
Not at this point, no. You just need to worry about making the feature. And we are able to have this feature event here tonight thanks to all of our sponsors. All Phases Renovations, they have put up a purse for tonight, $250, with $150 of that going to the winner, $75 for second, $25 to third. They're in southeastern Massachusetts. Go ahead and give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs. They are your source for anything you need, such as patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. Go ahead and visit them on Facebook. Give them a call, 508-332-6316. Follow them on Facebook, though, and check out some of their past work. Thank you to our other sponsors as well. Napa, they help us out a ton. Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, Mid-State Site Development, Call Before You Dig, Lincoln Technical Institute, Spark Virtual Reality, Maybury Material Handling. Thank you to all of them. They are what let us do what we love and watch them racing here, as they are bumping right here at the beginning. That 50 controls the restart, and he goes when Haidar has to check up. Haidar cuts it down in front of Cole. The top 5 are all in a line, single file. As Glen Reen looks to the bottom, though.
Oh, a little bit of contact in the back of the pack. One car goes around. That's Robert Stirk. A quick 360 and go. Pete Thicket also spun the infield grass. Man, these last couple laps have not been kind to that 99 car. Looking at the front of the field, though, right now the battle is for the lead. Matthew Kimball continues to hold it with 2 laps, or with the white flag coming out. This is the final lap in the heat. The battle for 5th, though, Glen Reen had a little bit of pressure from behind by Mark Alkas, but Alkas got loose off of 2 and spins it down to the infield grass. Looks like Glen Reen is a good spot to transfer in. Matthew Kimball will come off of turn 4, a very shallow exit off of 4, and take the final heat. Travis Haidar advances, Cassandra Cole advances, Ryan Fern and Glen Reen are the last 2 to advance. Everybody else will have to wait for the 2 consolation races, which are coming up next.
Right now, we are hosting these events on iRacing because we are unfortunately unable to get to the track. CDC guidelines, and we don't want to violate any of those, excuse me. But until we can get back to, I know, I'm all sorts of mixed up. I'm all sorts of excited. It's an absolutely amazing night here. But what I'm even more excited for is the Napa Spring Sizzler. It's moved to May 30th and 31st right now. 8 divisions of racing, including the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. But opening night is scheduled for Friday, May 22nd. It's going to be all 5 of our Stafford divisions. It's going to be some amazing racing once we get back to the track. But until we do, you can find us here on iRacing having a grand old time. It's going to be great here, as right now we are on Consolation event number 1. Peter Bennett is going to be on the pole. Dan Butler in 2nd. J.B. Fortin in 3rd. Joshua Carey in 4th, who did not make the grid. Timmy Catalano in 5th. R.J. Surdell in 6th. George Bessette Jr., the Mad Dog, in 7th. Sal Acardi in 8th. Tony Membrino 9th. Mark Burke 10th. Jonathan Puleo 11th. Kyle Ellwood in 12th. Phil Jacques, who's had some rough luck, in 13th. David Arute, who actually just battled through some computer issues, looks like he did not make the grid. Andrew Les and Andrew Muller all did not make the grid, so your last starter is going to be in 13th. That's Phil Jacques. He's got a tall order and a lot of work to do if he wants to get up. Only the top 3 advance here, not top 5.
Yeah, and for Peter Bennett, starting on the pole for the consolation race is huge. But if you're that second place car, Dan Butler, you gotta find a way to get back in line. Because if you're stuck in that outside, we saw it happen with Brad Fubel in the heat race. Starting second, was in 6th in just a matter of a lap, and he just kept getting knocked backwards. Looking at third, JB Fortune had some tough luck in the heat race. RJ Surdell had some tough luck. To be honest, a lot of them had tough luck. We had some chaos going on in the heat, so we'll see what happens here, though. The top three in the Consolation Race will move on to the feature. There's 2 consolations. Here's Conti number 1, and Peter Bennett will lead them off of turn 4. The green is out, and they're off.
Lots of beating and banging there down the backstretch. Phil Jacques is 3 wide for last place. And they're going in, they all go around. Phil Jacques goes through Reed Acres and works his way through. I thought he was crazy for going 3 wide at the start. That's the move that just saved him. Let's take a look at that replay, though. Phil Jacques through Reed Acres to make it happen.
Wow, that took out most of the field at that. Looking at Phil Jacques right now, it was a very congested start, and it started within the first couple rows. He had Jacques making the aggressive 3 wide move, but it looks like contact between JB Fortin and Dan Butler, which was a battle for second spot. I don't know how Phil Jacques got through there, but a lot of people didn't make it through, that's for sure. We'll see who gets damaged and who can keep going, but it looks like the biggest victim of that was Timmy Catalano, as you see from up above. Just everybody. Somehow George Bessette Jr. and Phil Jacques got through cleanly on the bottom. There's Catalano's car just casually chilling on his roof. We'll see if they can get that car fixed and get back out there. Again, caution laps do not count. We have another car on pit road right now trying to see who that is, but there's 2 cars in the pits. One of them is Catalano, the other is RJ Surdell. Wow, what a start. And that's why you got to start in the front if you're Peter Bennett, because he avoided all the chaos, and that happened right next to him.
Timmy Catalano on his roof for the 2nd time tonight, unfortunately. That is just... That's tough luck. It's very
great for
unfortunate.
X Games.
Yeah, coming up in the 2021 X Games, assuming the coronavirus is long gone by then. Well, it will be, because we're going back racing in April. In May, excuse me. It's April right now. I'm a month off. My goodness. But Timmy Catalano, yeah, coming up in the X Games in 2021, it's going to be Whelen Modified Flipping. And right now, he is the global leader.
Whelen Modified what?
Whelen Modified Flipping.
Never
Whoever
heard
can
that
flip
one.
the well, it's coming up. Yeah, so the goal is you get the right
this is the
tires.
inaugural. This is the inaugural one, right?
You're right. It's the inaugural, the first annual.
No, don't say first annual. Sean Kershane from Race Day, Connecticut is not going to be happy about that. Sean, cover your ears if you're listening. Anyways, right now we've only completed 1 lap in this heat race. Actually, we really didn't complete a lap. So they're doubling up now, getting ready for the restart. Looking up in the front, Peter Bennett is the leader. Sal Acardi up to 2nd. George Bessette Jr., because of missing that wreck, is all the way up to 3rd. Mark Burke, who flipped in the heat race, is in 4th. Tony Membrino in 5th. Running in 6th is Kyle Ellwood. JB Fortin in 7th. Phil Jacques in 8th. Timmy Catalano and RJ Surdell are in the pits. We'll see if they can get back out there, but they are way behind. Coming to the green, Jeff.
Let's see if Phil Jacques takes it 3 wide again. He's all the way back in 8th. Peter Bennett gets a great jump on the inside. So does the Mad Dog 39. He's side by side for 2nd, trying to clear that 45, and he will. Membrino is now side by side. These guys are all getting sorted out. Remember, only the top 3 will advance from this race, and right now, the 45 is feeling the fire as Membrino is down on his inside, looking like he's going to get around. Membrino now sits in 3rd.
Membrino is in that final transfer spot, running in 4th right now. Sal Acardi battles for 5th behind these guys. You got Kyle Ellwood battling against Jon Puleo. Puleo was in a decent spot in the heat race until he and Bessette Jr. got together on the restart at the end of the race before the time limit hit. That's why they're racing in the Conti right now. Looking up front, it's Bennett in 1st, Bessette in 2nd, and Membrino in 3rd.
Keeping our eyes on the front, George Bessette Jr. right now is a whole lot closer to Tony Membrino than he is to Peter Bennett. That is great news for Membrino, bad news for the 39. But right now, it's all pretty much a net positive for all of them. Because right now, we're taking a look at Ellwood and Acardi. The top 3 will advance, and they are battling side by side for 4th. The inside line is stronger here at Estafford. Looked like that Phil Jacques thought about taking the 3 wide, thought better of it. He's working the inside now, and Jacques goes around and up in the air.
Oh, looks like that bad luck continues. Somehow the car got straightened out immediately, though, after almost flipping over. Another car involved in that wreck was Mark Burke. He's up in the wall off of turn 4. We'll see what happened here. They hooked wheels. It looked like Acardi and Phil Jacques might have hooked wheels, and after that, Jacques just lost control. Nice little spin, caught some air, landed it though, and there's Mark Burke just hammering the wall off of turn 4. We'll see how much damage that does. that 77 car. You're riding on board with him right now. Yeah, I think Acardi and Jakes got together, and then Burke and Jakes got together. And Burke is trying to save it, but he got clipped there. I think that's Jon Puleo that was right next to him. And as a result, the 77 car ends up in the wall again.
These cars are very, very difficult to save on iRacing. We discussed it earlier, but once the back end starts to go around on these cars, you're pretty much along for the ride. Your best course of action is to just lift off the throttle and save it, but lifting off the throttle is not something a race car driver particularly likes to do. So Mark Burke trying to save it there, gets it up into the fence. Probably a lot of front end damage, and the toe is more than likely knocked out.
Yeah, Phillip Jacques is on pit road. Jonathan Puleo's on pit road. Mark Burke, RJ Surdell, and Timmy Catalano have not left the pit, so it looks like they're not going to make it because they're laps behind. Looking up at the front of the field, though, as they come across the line here, we have 6 laps to go in this heat race. Peter Bennett right now continues to lead. George Bessette Jr. in second. Tony Membrino in third. Now, that 37 car of Kyle Ellwood, he was able to move up to fourth. He made the pass on Sal Acardi. He did lose ground because of that battle with the 45, though, so can Ellwood make his way past Membrino here on the restart now that he's got a chance? And you just don't know if we keep having more trouble, will the time limit come into the play? So there's really not much time to waste here. You just got to go once the green flag comes out.
You are exactly right. The time limit, though, they have about a minute and a half left, and once that hits, it's the next lap completed is the final lap. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to get all the laps in. So these drivers have to be sure that they're watching, because right now, if they're going to make a move, it's almost white flag conditions, essentially.
Now we've seen the clouds come in and out and shade the track, and now we see the track is bathed in sunlight. Jeff, what does that do to the car's handling when the shade of the clouds come in and out like that?
If you take a look at all the track temperatures up above, all the different temperatures up above, track temp is way down. It started at about 100 degrees. It's at 88 degrees right now. So that means the lap times are a whole lot quicker. The colder the track is, the faster you are, the more grip you have. Pretty much on a shady track, you could be running 18.2s, 18.3s here. The top qualifying lap was just under 19 seconds. So really about 20 degrees owns up to about 8/10 worth of time, so it can make a very big difference here. Now the track temps are down, the cars are a whole lot faster, and so these drivers have to account for that. Right now, they're getting ready to go back green. Peter Bennett still in first, George Bessette Jr. in second, Tony Membrino in third. The top 3 advance, but it's looking like the time limit is going to be what gets these guys. They only have 10 minutes per Consi, and right now, that time limit's running out. Just a couple laps left here. They are rolling, and George Bessette Jr. got the outside moving.
Wow, he got the jump for sure. He's going to clear the 50 car Bennett into turn 1. Membrino pushes Ellwood up the track for that final transfer spot, and that'll give that 44 car the edge as they enter turn number 3. There's only 7 cars on the track right now. Everybody else is in the pits, but the battle continues on right now. Bessette is the leader.
The time limit has elapsed. Let's see how that impacts the racing here. Just a couple laps to go. Right now, Peter Bennett still looking at 3 to go, however. So Tony Membrino is sitting in third. He's got to hold off that 37 to Kyle Ellwood. It's very, very close racing for the lead, though. That camera angle is nothing but the front bumper of Peter Bennett. He's not afraid to use it. Let's see how he can get around the Mad Dog.
And got a piece of cake between the rear bumper of Bessette Jr. and the front bar of Peter Bennett. So they might have made a little bit of contact at turn 3. Membrino's right there. Ellwood is right there. They are nose to tail. There is no gap in between them as they come off of 4 and cross the stripe. What can Ellwood do? What's he going to do to try and get in? Because he needs to get past that 44 car to advance to the feature.
The white flag is about to come out. You see the 37 dive it all the way to the bottom, clip the grass, hold on to it, save it, maybe, kind of, sort of, not really, as he spins down to the bottom. No caution, though, because the white flag is out. The top 3 have checked out on the field. Sal Acardi is in fourth. Right now, Tony Membrino knows he can make the field if he just sits where he's at. Peter Bennett thinks better of wrecking the 39. That would have been a very risky move, so he backs off. The top 3 to advance will be George Bessette Jr., Peter Bennett, and Tony Membrino. Sal Acardi, Jonathan Puleo, J.B. Fortin, Kyle Ellwood, Mark Burks, Phillip Jacques, Dan Butler, Timmy Catalano, and R.J. Surdell are all going home.
Wow, gotta give credit to Bessette on that restart. He got the jump, and that was a big difference maker right there in helping him get into the feature. So right now, these guys are going to have a 5-minute warm-up session before the feature begins.
No, we
And
have one more consolation event.
oh, we got one more
Don't get ahead
conti.
of
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh,
Whoops.
no!
Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. We have
Mistakes.
one more consolation event.
I
Brad
know.
Bell
I realize
starting in
that
first.
now.
No worries at all. I'm excited for this feature event too, but we need 3 more people to round out this field. Daniel Coutu starts second, Justin Bren in third, Anthony Bello in fourth, Cory Casagrande will start fifth, Robert Stirk in sixth, Tyler Leary in seventh, Mark Alkas in eighth, Paul Buzel in ninth, Pete Thicket in 10th, Daltin McCarthy in 11th, Mark Stewart starts 12th, and in 13th, Kevin Crosby. Those are all your starters that will be taking the grid here tonight. 13 of them will try and make the field. 3 of them will.
Yeah, we'll see if this race is a little bit cleaner than the first one. Brad Bell, he's been doing pretty well. I've been very impressed by how he's performed out there. Yeah, he had the bad restart in the heat race, but he's still shown to be pretty fast. So we'll see how he can do here now that he's starting on the pole. Can he hold on to that lead? Daniel Coutu in second spot, Justin Bren in third. Justin's been doing a lot of practice recently. Anthony Bello, another guy from the Wednesday feature, trying to get into the Friday night feature as well. We know Blanchard made it in earlier because he won his heat race. We'll see who else can advance. Cory Casagrande, when he got into RJ Surdell's upside down car 2 weeks ago, he actually bought 2 human spotters for last week's race, just to make sure that he did not hit another car that was upside down again. And I mean, can you blame him? Tyler Leary flipped over in turn 3 last week. Cory Casagrande got underneath Tyler Leary and missed him, and then everyone was like, hey, Cory missed an upside-down car. So now you can understand why Cory may have had 2 spotters, 2 human spotters, not just a game spotter, 2 human spotters to help him avoid any car that's upside down.
Right now, he's got Zane Farrell spotting for him out of Pennsylvania. So Cory Casagrande not taking any chances. He rolls off 50 tonight. He needs 2 more spots, though, if he wants to advance. He needs to finish top 3. Let's take a look at the front, though. Brad Bell in that 21 leads the field to green, waiting, and he goes with the green flag, gets everybody roaring right now. Cory Casagrande looks like he missed the shift, and he's going to be able to get back down. 3 wide at the front. They're 3 wide for this lead. Right now, the middle line worked.
Yeah, Justin Bren, KP Bell, a shot in turn 1. That pushed the 21 car up the track, but somehow he held on to the lead. Second spot is Daniel Coutu. The battle for the transfer spots between Justin Bren in the blue 66, as well as Anthony Bello in that white 51 car. Behind them, Robert Stirk pushes way up the track. Tyler Leary's going to get under. We have a caution, though. We have an accident in the back of the pack. Trying to see who that might have been. It might have been Crosby. I'm not quite sure. There's another car in the infield grass. They wrecked after the yellow even came out. Tyler Leary has spun out. Daltin McCarthy has spun out. I think that happened after the original yellow came out.
It did, and Cory Casagrande didn't hit an upside-down car tonight. He hit one that was right side up. Just hit the poor car, had nowhere to go, unfortunately.
Daltin McCarthy was lined across the track off of turn 2. That's what happened. He was across the track in turn 2. I don't know if he spun out the lap before and did not get going, but a couple cars just plowed into him. And McCarthy, there you see, he's, tail wagging it right now. That car is crab walking in turn 3. We have multiple cars in the pits. Cory Casagrande is in the pits, Dalton's in the pits, Tyler Leary, and Robert Stirk. And Casagrande, he's done. That car is a geyser of smoke coming out of the front of that 7 Casagrande car, and the bad luck continues. He said that he hit just about everything last week. I asked him how many incidents he got involved in. He said pretty much all of them, jokingly. But the luck continues for that 7 car, and not in a good way.
Yeah, Dalton McCarthy just got stalled there on the bottom after he spun out. That's all it was, and he's going to be taking it to the pits. That car is absolutely destroyed. How many times, though, in the history of Stafford Motor Speedway has an announcer called the middle line works? Because that implies 2 things. 1, they were at least 3 wide. And 2, that the middle line beat the inside line. You don't hear that very often here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Absolutely phenomenal by that 21 to be able to make the middle line work and clear the guys that were all around him. Entered the turn 3 wide, actually entered the turn single file, wound up 3 wide, and then exited the turn the leader. That is absolutely phenomenal for him. Our top 3 remains the same, though. Brad Bell, Daniel Coutu, and then Anthony Bello worked his way up. He made 1 pass over Justin Bren and is now up to 3rd.
I can think of one person that did that 3 wide in the middle move. 2 people, actually. Bryan Narducci and Marcello Rufrano. In 2018, they were tied coming into the championship finale in the SK Light division. Bryan Narducci made a 3 wide, actually got under his cousin Alex Pearl, went down the middle, made it work. Marcello Rufrano followed right behind him, and they both made the middle line work. It was a very bold move, and it paid out for both of them in what was a very, very memorable battle between those 2 guys. And in the end, it didn't quite work out too well for either of them, especially Narducci. Obviously, they both got together in the backstretch with a couple laps to go, ended up in the turn 3 wall, giving Rufrano the championship. But Narducci did make a 3 wide move in the middle lane underneath his cousin Pearl and above another car, and it was one of the more bold moves I've seen at Stafford Motor Speedway, and they never even made contact.
Well, you don't hear that too often at all, though. But absolutely phenomenal racing. And Bryan Narducci, he is locked into our feature event, so he's not in these consolation races. So we can make sure that we will keep an eye on him. Right now, though, let's keep our eyes on the front row as the top 3 will advance. Let's see who it's going to be. Right now, the 21, the 52, and the 51 are looking awfully strong, and the 51 is going to make the inside work, but the 9 car drives it in deep, pushes the 66 just about. Man, it is a side-by-side battle for third. The advantage is on the outside right now in terms of speed, but the 51 is going to have the inside line, try and make that work and stay ahead of the 66.
Yeah, Buzel drove it really deep into turn 1, but luckily it looks like it didn't hurt Bren too much. They stay side by side for the 3rd spot. Bren is holding his own somewhat on the outside line, but the edge does go to that 51 car Bello. Trying to advance from the Wednesday feature, he will take that 3rd spot, and he's catching up on Daniel Coutu, who goes wide off of turn 4 in the 2nd position.
That 51 has 3rd. He wants more. He gets right up to the back bumper of the 52. He's looking on the outside, but oh my goodness, has to check up. They're 3 wide, the 9 cars in the grass, 2 wide entering the turn, and now the 51 is still side by side with the 66. It is some awfully hard racing out there. Nobody wants to go home.
Oh, we got a huge crash behind them. Paul Buzel gets in the thicket. Thicket is on his roof, slams the outside wall while upside down, and that'll bring out the yellow. We're going to see what happened here, but Buzel did a good job off of turn 2. He slid sideways off the corner after making contact with that 66 car and saved it. They were almost 3 wide in turn 3 as we look at the replay right now. Bello does push the 66 of Bren up the track a little bit. Buzel looks to the inside, off the corner. Looks like Buzel might have came up a little bit on Thicket, and Thicket ended up upside down. 1 car somehow, I think he drove underneath Mark Alkas. Let's see if we can get on board with Mark Alkas. He basically drove underneath that 99 car and somehow didn't really get away with much damage. We're riding on board right now. Wow, that is really close. Somehow he got through. I don't think he got much, if any, damage. Nice job for that 89 car.
I believe our friend over in the booth at Stafford, Mr. Butler, would say he Nutrisystem his way through. It's pretty much the analogy he uses. Made that car skinny and snuck right by. That is absolutely amazing. One of his famous Bucklerisms.
One of many Bucklerisms at that. So now we have another yellow. There's 5 laps to go in this race. Brad Bubel continues to lead. He had a really good jump on the restart. He stood on it and cleared the 2nd place car Coutu really easily. Justin Bren and Coutu have been battling hard. So has Bello. We'll see if those 3 continue to battle hard right now. Bello's got that last transfer spot. Mark Stewart is right behind Bren, though. He's kind of quietly worked his way up right now. So we'll see what happens. Mark Alkas is up there too again. He's got a much better connection now. He feels pretty good. He thinks that he can make his way to the feature. Just got to have some good luck on his side. And he had some pretty good luck there getting underneath that 99 car Thicket. Literally underneath. And speaking of Alkas, I just want to mention that the 89 car, Mark Bakai will be driving that 89 car in the SK Lights this upcoming season. And they're hoping that that car will compete for the championship in 2020.
Speaking of drivers that are racing in 2020, one of them will not be racing here tonight. Tyler Leary drives the number 1X modified as well as the 11X late model at Stafford Motor Speedway, pulling double duty, does some fantastic work. Absolutely amazing. He won a championship, I want to say it was Monadnock in 2018. Phenomenal driver that he is. He will unfortunately not be racing here tonight. He has just packed the trailer and is going home. But take a look here at the front three guys, Brad Buell, Daniel Coutu, and Anthony Bello. They are the ones that are feeling the fire because they need to finish in their positions that they're in right now if they want to run here tonight.
At the same time, though, the field is dwindling away, so there's less people fighting for that final transfer spot. So we'll see what happens. There's 5 laps to go in this consolation race, pardon me. So Brad Buell is in that first spot, Daniel Coutu in second, Anthony Bello in third, Justin Bren fourth, Mark Stewart in fifth, Mark Alkas in sixth, Kevin Crosby in the final spot on the track. Pete Thicket, Daltin McCarthy, they're still on pit road. As you mentioned, Tyler Leary, he's called it quits. He's done because of the damage he got with that wreck under the caution on the back straightaway. It's a single file restart, though, and a great job for Buell as he gets ahead by a couple car lengths over Daniel Coutu.
He got a little bit of a push as the 66 looks to the inside of the 51, pushes him up and up and up. Right now, the 66 has the inside line. That's Justin Bren. He needs that spot to advance. That's the battle for third, the last transfer spot. All 4 tires on the apron. Justin Bren makes it work. He's still door to door, though. The 51 is riding that outside. Anthony Bello, he needs that spot. Just a couple laps to go here. They're still there, but slowly, bit by bit, Justin Bren is pulling further and further ahead.
The previous lap, Bren looked to the inside, and Bello gave him room. He gave him room. He didn't try to cut him off. It's not like Bren had the position there. He was peeking to the inside, and surprisingly, Bello did give him enough space, and that's going to help Bren a lot because he's going to take that final transfer spot, and now Mark Stewart's going to look inside of Bello for the 4th position. He's right there. He's going to look to the inside of Bren for that final transfer spot.
He thought better of it, but that move in turn 3, it's going to be what we're seeing here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it used here, but the 8 gets high, wide, and handsome. Let's take a look at the leader, though. Brad Buell has this race won easily. In the 21 car, we are coming off a turn 4, coming to the line. He's going to win it and punch his ticket to the feature. Daniel Coutu and the battle for third ended up with Justin Bren taking home third. All 3 of those guys are going to advance. That means Anthony Bello, Mark Alkas, Kevin Crosby, Mark Stewart, Paul Buell, Pete Thicket, Robert Stirk, Cory Casagrande, Tyler Leary, and Daltin McCarthy are all going to be going home. As they warm these cars up, let's take a quick commercial break here. These guys are just going to shake these cars down. We're going to take a quick commercial. Welcome back here. We are about to get the feature event started. They're wrapping up their warm-up session here. We are here at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway, and our race tonight is sponsored by All Phases Renovations. They are a great help here, and they are putting a purse forward for tonight's event. $250 to these drivers. The top three are eligible. $150 for first place, $75 for second, $25 to our third place finisher. They are in southeastern Massachusetts. Go ahead and give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs. They are your source for outdoor construction needs, including patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. Go ahead and visit their Facebook page. It's All Phases Renovations, or give them a call at 508-332-6316. Follow them on Facebook. Give them a like. Check out some of their past work. They are All Phases Renovations on Facebook. Another little interesting fact there, Larry is the owner of Matt Swanson's Tri-Track car. He raced his way in, and he's going to be having a good night so far, trying to make his sponsor happy.
He did a good job in the heat race, and with money on the line, these guys already race aggressively. We'll see how much more they're going to race hard, knowing that there's money on the line. $150. That's not a little bit. That's a lot, especially at this time right now where we're going through. But hey, we're just getting started right now. We got the 80 lap feature coming up, and we're going to give you a starting lineup to the 80 lap feature. On the pole for this one, it's going to be Mike Christopher Jr. in the 82 car. Well, the car doesn't really have a number on it. Starting in second spot is Ryan Blanchard, Jacob Perry in third, Matthew Kimball in fourth, Dylan Izzo in fifth, Troy Talman in sixth, Matt Swanson 7th, Travis Hydar 8th, Mikey Flynn starts in 9th, and Matt Vassar starts in 10th.
Starting in 11th is going to be brother of Keith Rocco, Jeff Rocco, Cassandra Cole in 12th, Teddy Hodgdon starting further back than we've seen him before in 13th, Kyle Johnson in 14th, Joseph Eilert driving that Spark VR car. They are also a sponsor of ours here, so thank you to Spark VR. He is in 15th, Ryan Fern in 16th, Cory DiMatteo in 17th, Bryan Narducci starts 18th, Marcello Rufrano 19th, Glen Reen, owner of Reen Acres over there by turn 1. Hopefully we don't see anyone sliding through there. Starts 20th. 21st is George Bessette Jr. He raced his way in. Brad Bubell 22nd, Peter Bennett 23rd, Daniel Coutu 24th, Tony Membrino in 25th. Rounding out the field in that 66 car is Justin Bren starting 26th. 13 rows deep these guys are going to be starting, and it's going to be a great race. 80 laps to go.
Caution laps will count for this feature event. 3 green, white checkers. Couple stories here for this one. Teddy Hodgdon, Bryan Narducci. They're starting mid-pack. Narducci way back in 18th, as you mentioned. Hodgdon in 13th. He saw Narducci win last week, starting from the 11th position. Can he do that again? Can Hodgdon get up there? Look at Cory DiMatteo. He's starting in 17th. So these 3 guys who started and ran in the front of the field for most of last week's race and the week before, starting way back. Peter Bennett running top 3 most of last week's feature. He's starting back in the 22nd position. So how will these guys, the guys who've been running up front for the last 2 weeks, be able to make their way through the front, and can they avoid any chaos that happens in front of them?
Interestingly enough, we just got word from Race Control that Justin Bren, Cory DiMatteo, and Bryan Narducci have all requested to be sent to the back of the line. They are going to be starting from the back. That is what they wanted. But up at the front, Mike Christopher Jr. is going to lead the way. Coming off of turn 4, he's waiting, and green flag comes out. He rolls a little bit late. That 9 car, Ryan Blanchard, has the advantage here. Let's see what he's able to do on the outside, but Mike Christopher Jr. fights to the inside and gets
trouble
them
in the
going.
back of the pack. It's Glen Reen. Glen Reen has crashed. The 21 of Bubell's crashed. George Bessette Jr. has crashed. Daniel Coutu have crashed. They all jammed up in turn 1, and that's going to bring out the yellow. So we didn't get far as Bessette and Reen get together again. That happened towards the back of the pack. I think Reen was the first one to go around, and it eventually caused about a 5-car jam session on turn 1 home.
So we're following along with Reen here. Let's take a look all the way at the start. He's on the outside. There's going to be a big checkup on the inside, so keep an eye on that 22 car there of Jacob Perry. Just all sorts of checked up. George Bessette Jr. and Peter Bennett get together. The George Bessette Jr. machine gets sent around, and that's what catches Glen Reen. Glen Reen caught that wall at just the right angle where it blew up his motor. I think he's going to be out of this race before even making it to turn 1. You see that big plume of smoke out of the 17? His night is over.
Tony Membrino also got a piece of it. It looked like Joseph Eilert in the 36 car it just seemed like his car didn't go. It just all of a sudden slowed down dramatically, and that stacked everybody up. And I don't know if you noticed, we talk about Justin Bren going to the end of the line and wanting to. He did more than that. He was way behind everybody. He was not even close to the pack. He gave so much room, worrying that something was going to happen, and they all wrecked in turn one, and he comes out in one piece.
In the heats and consolation events, the caution laps did not count. In this feature event, though, they do, in fact, count. So you can't sit on pit road and take a long time getting repairs. We see the 39 hit pit road right now, the 52 as well. Actually, a little bit of contact there getting onto pit road. It's not an easy place to be here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Ryan Fern is up 2 spots. He's all the way up to 14. Teddy Hodgdon has actually moved up 1 spot. He's in 12th right now. These guys are all over the place. A lot of big hitters that we expect to see running near the front are actually towards the middle of the pack. So it's not an easy place to be in the middle of the pack here at Stafford Motor Speedway. We see Peter Bennett leaving pit lane. Maybe all his repairs are done. He'll be back out here and competitive once again.
Yeah, he didn't get too much damage, it looked like, compared to Glen Reen, who his car was absolutely destroyed. He hammered the turn one wall. Also on pit road, George Bessette Jr., you saw a close-up of him just a moment ago. Justin Bren is on pit road. I wonder if he's going on pit road just to get back to the end of the line, because he did gain a couple spots from that accident. We'll see. Daniel Coutu is also on pit road. Tony Membrino is on pit road. I didn't think Membrino got that much damage, so we'll see how long he's there. But with the caution laps counting, these guys are losing laps. Now, Mike Christopher Jr. is one of the top drivers in terms of speed and experience on iRacing, and he is the one that's starting in the front, so he has a huge advantage here starting on the pole because, one, everybody else that he has to worry about is stuck mid-pack and back, but two, he gets to avoid all the accidents. Ryan Blanchard, though, even though he doesn't compete regularly on Friday nights at the real Stafford Motor Speedway, he has shown a lot of speed as well, so we'll see. It's interesting. We got the non-driver versus the driver. Who can come out on top here early on and throughout the race?
Mike Christopher Jr. is actually the top-ranked Tour Modified driver on all of iRacing as he gets a great jump to the inside here. Blanchard is going to follow, going to shut the door on the 50, thinks better of it. He will end up doing so, and right now, Mike Christopher Jr. leads the way through turns 1 and 2.
Got another crash mid-pack. Got another crash mid-pack. Mikey Flynn was involved in that one. Teddy Hodgdon as well. They both got into the wall. They keep it going, but they lost a ton of ground. So the green flag remains out, but yes, Teddy Hodgdon and Mikey Flynn both ended up in the wall. Looking up in the front right now is Mike Christopher Jr. Ryan Blanchard's right there. Nobody pulling away so far. The first battle further back is for that 5th position between Troy Talman, the 2, and Dylan Izzo. The 2 car does get that spot. Travis Hyder looking to follow through as well.
Let's follow along on the gearbox of this number 2 car of Dylan Izzo, actually, not the number 2 car, but we are riding along with Dylan Izzo. He's stuck on that outside line. It's not an easy place to be here. You want to be down on that inside rolling. He's side by side with Travis Hyder. He's got the 3 car, Matt Swanson, right behind him. Once you're stuck on that outside, you're really out there until you get a big gap to the guy behind. That does not look good for Dylan Izzo. Right now, we're riding along with Dylan Izzo right there at the front of his car. He's going to try and slip in line, and he's got it. Right now, let's see if he can try and work his way back up, though. He is sitting all the way back in 8th position right now, entering turn 1.
Yeah, Hyder and Izzo got together but off the turn 2 a couple laps ago, and Hyder actually got sideways off the corner, but kept it going and eventually took the spot. Looking up at the front right now, Ryan Blanchard still on the back bumper of Mike Christopher Jr. Matthew Kimball advancing after winning the heat race. He's a bit far back there, 7/10 behind the front 2. He's got a mirror full of Jacob Perry, who obviously has shown a lot of speed the last couple weeks. But Jacob Perry has to be careful because he got into the 3rd place car last week. He doesn't want to repeat that and get penalty to the end of the line.
We're getting word now that 2 cars so far are out of this race with blown motors. George Bessette Jr., the Mad Dog, he is out, and Glen Reen is out. But Glenn says he has 32 minutes of required repairs, and then he's coming for Cory DiMatteo, as he put it. Obviously joking out there, but right now, Ryan Blanchard is sitting in 2nd place. Look at the back bumper there. You'll see Wolfpack Motorsports. They are well known for the modifieds on iRacing. They are very competitive. They are very good in the SK modifieds, especially. So right now, we're riding on board with him. Right there on that back bumper of Mike Christopher Jr. But being fast enough to catch someone is far different than being fast enough to pass them. He's going to need Mike Christopher Jr. to make a mistake, and he'll dive to that inside, but Waiting for Mike Christopher Jr. to make a mistake is going to be a long time. Not a common occurrence.
Bryan Narducci right now up to the 20th spot. Cory DiMatteo is in 19th. Peter Bennett 18th. You guys haven't moved that far up. Teddy Hodgdon, despite hitting the wall, he's still running just outside the top 15, so he hasn't lost too much ground. Right now, it's still Mike Christopher Jr., Ryan Blanchard top 2. Mike Christopher Jr., the second-gen driver from Walcott, Connecticut, obviously the son of Mike Christopher Sr., multi-time champion at Stafford Motor Speedway, and of course, the nephew of the late, great Teddy Christopher.
He absolutely is. He had a rough season last year, but he certainly got his workouts in. There were more times than I can count that his power steering went out in his car, and I'll tell you what, these cars are very difficult to steer with power steering, so driving out there without it at all and still getting good finishes is certainly remarkable. He didn't get any wins last season, so he is more hungry than ever before once we get back to the track. But until then, I'm sure he still wants to win this race. Like we've said multiple times before, the racing here is virtuous, but the emotions and the desire to win is 100% real. Right now, he's got a car length to Ryan Blanchard behind him and about half a second to Matthew Kimball in third.
George Bessette Jr. and Daniel Coutu have made their way back onto the track after an extended stay on pit road, so they rejoin the field. Right now, they're all singled down with these equal setups. Passing is not going to be easy, and that's why track position is so important right now. Third on back, they're pretty bunched up right now. You're looking at the third place car of Matthew Kimball, Jacob Perry right behind them, Troy Talman. Talman was trying to be more cautious last week after a rough first race, and he was able to be more cautious. Wonder how that mentality is going to be this week. Will he take it easy again? The third generation. Oh, that's the American military first car, Jacob Perry, right front field completes lap number.
Right now we are on lap 21. We are over a quarter of the way through this race. Mike Christopher Jr. has been the guy out front the entire time so far, but Ryan Blanchard has not moved at all. He's still just a car length behind. He's absolutely phenomenal. How close he's staying. He's not falling off at all, but he just can't seem to get a run on him. We're still on board there though. We're watching along. Right now, get a good look at all these cars as they go flying by. Absolutely phenomenal racing here. Lap 22 is in the books. We are over a quarter of the way through this race. Only 80 laps here.
Bryan Narducci almost spun out for turn 2 a couple laps ago. He was in the infield grass for a moment, but he saved it. He's in the back of a line of cars here led by Cory DiMatteo, who's running in the 16th spot. You got Peter Bennett right behind DiMatteo, Brad Bubel, Mikey Flynn, Matt Vassar, and Bryan Narducci. Narducci makes the move underneath Vassar. He's going to take that 20th spot. That's a lot of heavy hitters in that group right now. They're all trying to make their way to the front, but Narducci did almost spin out a couple laps ago. He eventually saved it though and kept on going.
Someone working their way through the field is Ryan Furt. He's gained 6 spots so far. He got around Kyle Johnson. Let's take a look at him. He dives in hard into turn 1. Right now coming off turn 2, taking a bit of a lower exit than most guys. He could be saving tires, expecting a long green flag run. Whatever he's doing though is working. He's gained 6 spots and he's gaining on Jeff Rocco. Yeah,
Ryan Furt's been practicing a lot, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, and the man cannot find much luck. He was the first caution in the first race we had a couple weeks ago. He was the first caution in the race last week and the last caution. Not really of his own doing, it's just racing. He got caught in some tight situations and eventually ended up in crashes. So he's looking for some good luck here. He's been trying to get faster and faster, and he likes to brag, you know, how he's running fast. And I'll ask him, how'd you get the hacks for that? And he's like, it's not the hacks. And I'm like, okay, whatever, Ryan. But he is doing a good job right now. Right in front of him, though, we got a long line of cars from third on back. You just wonder, could Matthew Kimball be holding up the rest of that field? Because when you have a big gap in front of you and a bunch of cars right behind you, that normally means that car is holding everybody up. And you just wonder how long Jacob Perry is going to wait before he can make the move. The front of the field, Mike Christopher Jr. continues to lead. He just lap past George Bessette Jr. Right behind him in second, Ryan Blanchard does the same. Now Bessette pulls to the bottom of the racetrack, gives everybody the outside line, and they all get by him in one piece.
Well, it was reported to us that he would be out of this race. Looks like that car is back running. He's currently 15 laps down from 39 is. Further towards the back, though, is Bryan Narducci. A couple laps ago, he gave that front bumper to Mikey Flynn and got him all out of shape. Flynn managed to save it, but Slim Reaper Matt Vassar also got around. That Hummel hot dog machine started in 10th. He's all the way back to 20th after pitting earlier. So So an interesting call, but he was playing better safe than sorry. Now we are on a long green flag run. We are 30 laps into this race, just 50 more to go here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Boy, a close call right behind the top 10. Teddy Hodgdon and Marcello Rufrano got together off of turn 4, battling for that 13th position. They kept it straight, though. Looked like Hodgdon got sideways off the corner. We got a crash behind him in turn 1. Trying to see who that is, but it does bring out the yellow. A couple cars involved. Yes, Brad Bubella and Narducci. Bubella and Narducci have crashed in turn 2, and that will bring out the yellow for just the second time today.
Oh, I think Race Control might have something to say about that one. Bryan Narducci took it all the way to the bottom. Well, let's take a look at this replay here. Narducci all the way back. He was involved earlier. Took an EOL willingly, goes down to the bottom, and just catches the left rear of the 21 and sends him around. No damage for either car, but some hurt feelings, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and Race Control has sent Bryan Narducci to the back after that incident. He will be at the end of the line for the next restart.
Yeah, he was just slowly working his way up to the top 15. Now he's got to start all over towards the back. He's heading to pit road right now. Another car is in the pits with Narducci. As we've completed 30 laps, a very long run. That was over 20 laps there, and it was interesting to see if the tires would wear out and if the cars would handle differently, because they haven't really had much opportunity to run a long green flag run. Bryan Narducci was in this pit stall for a second. Now he makes his way back out. Can't make tire changes anyways. Brad Bubell also makes his way out. They're both just trying to fix their damage. It looked like those two didn't really get much damage to begin with, so they should be okay and be able to move on.
These drivers out here theoretically could make the entire race on the same set of tires because fuel is not an issue at all as well. They have enough fuel to make it 100 laps, even more than 100 laps. So 80 laps is easily possible here. Right now, let's take a look at the lap times here of Mike Christopher Jr., and you'll see that they haven't fallen off all that much at all. His fastest lap was an 18.783, and his last lap was a 19.181. About 0.3, give or take, difference from how he started the race at his fastest lap. Honestly, he's not losing too much time, and not pitting and staying out isn't going to hurt him too much at all.
Now, for those who are tuning in, we ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've had a lot of content over the offseason, a lot of great content, from interviews to podcasts. There's the lap time comparisons right now, and it seems like Mike Christopher Jr. has had the slight edge on Blanchard, but it's not by much. That's why they stayed nose to tail for that whole entire run. But if you're watching right now, subscribe to Stafford Speedway's YouTube channel. A lot of content during the offseason. We talked to multiple drivers about special moments, big moments in Stafford history. We had a Bottom Shot podcast. We've had several episodes of that, talking to guys like Keith Rocco, Woody Pitcat, Mike Christopher Sr. So tune in, subscribe, and let me ask you this. We just had a chance to talk with Scott Tapley, the race official for Stafford, the race director, I should say. If we had another virtual Bottom Shot podcast guest, who would you want to be the guest for the next virtual Bottom Shot podcast? Tell us in the chat. Who would you want to see get interviewed next? We've talked to several people already. We've talked to Lisa Arute, who helps run the track. Very different perspective. But subscribe nonetheless and tell us who you want to see in the Bottom Shot podcast. Meanwhile, we're getting under green right now as Mike Christopher Jr. gets the starters. We complete 36 laps. Blanchard files in the second spot. The first battles for third between Kimball and Jacob Perry.
Right now they are side by side.
Oh, Cory DiMatteo spun the back of the pack, and he collected another car in Daniel Coutu. DiMatteo, one of the dominant cars last week, gets it going. So does Coutu. No yellow. As a result, they stay under green.
Green flag stays out. You see some slicing and dicing throughout the field. Ryan Fern has a car to his inside. Now Fern gets all up out of shape. A caution is out. Let's see where that wreck was.
Trying to see where that happened. I don't know. There was a puff of smoke in turn 3, but I didn't see anything that happened over there. The incident that happened in turn 1 was between Cory DiMatteo and Daniel Coutu, but that did not bring out the yellow. But nonetheless, the field will get stacked up again for another restart.
I don't think we should take a look at that replay there. Cory DiMatteo has been removed by Race Control. He is sent to the pits right now after causing that caution intentionally. So right now we are back under yellow. We're going to get this thing rolling again here soon. We're just under halfway. We're going to take halfway under yellow. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that green-white checkers here tonight are working. There was an issue with iRacing the past couple weeks where we couldn't have green-white checkers as well as heat races and consolation events. We chose to have heat races and consi so that we could choose our field and have them race their way in. So right now, though, that issue is resolved. There will be green-white checkers here tonight if we need them, which hopefully we don't. We can end this race under green, but we have up to 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. In the meantime, though, let us thank our sponsors again. All Phases Renovations is the official sponsor of tonight's event. They have a purse of $250. Everyone wants a share of it, but only the top 3 will get it. $150 for first, $75 for second, $25 for third. All Phases is located in southeastern Massachusetts, so go ahead and give Larry a call for all of your outdoor construction needs, including patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. You can find them over on their Facebook page, All Phases Renovations, or give them a call at 508-332-6316. Go to their Facebook page, though, check out some of their work, and give them a like. Another fun fact, Larry is the owner of Matt Swanson's tri-track car. Matt Swanson right now is sitting in 8th trying to work his way up through the field. Thank you to some of our other sponsors, though, including Napa Auto Parts. They are open during this coronavirus pandemic, making sure you can keep your car running and anything else you need. They are the sponsor for our Spring Sizzler, which has been moved to May 30th and May 31st, which is going to have 8 divisions of racing, including the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Some of our other sponsors, though, Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, Midstate Site Development, Call Before You Dig, Lincoln Technical Institute, Spark Virtual Reality, who are fielding Joseph Eiler in this race, who was involved in an earlier incident but is currently running 15th, right in front of Matt Vassar in that number 11 machine. And finally, Maybury Material Handling. Thank you to all of our sponsors that help us out. Make sure to support our sponsors because they support us. Without them, we would not be able to do what we love to do, which is watch race cars go fast on Friday night. And until we can do that at the real Stafford Motor Speedway, we can enjoy it here on the virtual one every single Friday night here as these drivers continue to battle it out.
1 to go as they cross the line. We're going to get back on the green here soon. Mike Christopher Jr. is the leader. Ryan Blanchard in second. Running in third is Matthew Kimball. Troy Talman in fourth. Jacob Perry fifth. Travis Haidar in sixth. Dylan Izzo seventh. Matt Swanson eighth. Running in ninth is Jeff Rocco. In the 10th spot is Kyle Johnson. Ryan Fern 11th. Cassandra Cole 12th. Teddy Hodgdon 13th. Running in 14th is Marcello Rufrano. In the 15th spot is Joseph Eiler. Matt Vassar in 16th. Peter Bennett 17th, Mikey Flynn 18th, 21 cars in the lead lap as the green flag comes out.
Mike Christopher Jr., another great restart there. Gets the bottom rolling. Ryan Blanchard jumps down to the bottom. The true 2-car of Troy Talman is stuck up on the outside, trying to make it work and clear that 50-car Matthew Kimball. Looks like he will, but Kimball takes it to the bottom on turn 3, dives it in deep. He's going to stay side by side with Troy Talman. That's a great battle for third.
That was a very aggressive move there by Kimball, but nothing's doing. He's going to file in the 4th spot. Talman able to hold his own on the outside. One car went very wide in turns 1 and 2. There were 3 wide back there. They're still making contact. So far, so good. It looks like as they continue to race off of turn 4. Actually, not by those guys. They're straight. Mike Jr. continues to lead. Blanchard in second. Troy Talman in.
Troy Talman right now sitting in 3rd place, having a great race so far in that dark blue 2-car, excuse me. Let's go on board with Troy Talman and take a look at there. You can watch the right front shock there as much as it bounces up and down.
Yeah, car spinning in turn 4. One car has spun out. I believe that's Sal Acardi that has spun out off the corner. He gets it going though. That's Joseph Eiler, pardon me. Joseph Eiler spun in turn 4. A single car spin, but he keeps on going. The green flag remains out as they come off of turn 4. It's still Mike Christopher Jr. leading as we approach lap 48.
That was one of my favorite camera angles you saw just a second ago. You could see the suspension bouncing in these cars. It is very, very difficult to work your way around here. It's a very aggressive track. Like we said, it's 9 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, only 7.5 degrees in turns 3 and 4. There's a lot of forces on these cars trying to push them one way and the other. It's all about the drivers being able to control it here. They're all running the exact same setup as well, so it's a competition of who can drive this car the best and hold their track position. And right now, Mike Christopher Jr. has led every single lap and is doing a phenomenal job.
Trouble, mid-pack. Ryan Fern got into a car off of turn 4, and that's going to bring out the yellow. Ryan Fern got into a car in the middle of turns 3 and 4, trying to see who that is. It was a black car. It's Jeff Rocco. Fern got into Jeff Rocco in the middle of 3 and 4. They were racing hard. He got really tight in turn 3. And Jeff Rocco The unfortunate victim of that one brings out the yellow once again.
Yeah, just an unfortunate racing incident.
They're entering turn 3. Ryan Fern was looking to the inside of Jeff Rocco, battling for position. It got really tight entering that corner. Fern kept it in there, and they made a little bit of contact. Rocco tried to save it, and I think him blinking kind of saved multiple other cars from getting involved in that one. I think one car might have gotten a slight piece of it, but it could have been a whole lot worse. Rocco stays in the pits right now trying to get his car repaired. Ryan Fern has been given a penalty to the end of the line.
Right now, Teddy Hodgdon is all the way up to 8th. He's having a great race so far, involved in an earlier altercation, but he is all right. Another guy having a good race so far is the Slim Reaper, Matt Vassar. I said in the last week event that he was running out of the Rent-A-Race Car shop. That is no longer the case. He's not out of their shop anymore. But the Rent-A-Race Car shop, let me tell you what, if you feel yourself wanting to drive one of these race cars and you sit in the stands thinking, oh, I could do it, I could drive one of these street stocks, go ahead and find them over on Facebook. Gary Spinato is the guy in charge there. That whole team does a phenomenal job, and it gives you the opportunity to get behind the wheel of an actual race car and race in an event at Stafford Motor Speedway. You'll do all the practices, you'll do the heat races, you'll race in the feature event in an actual street stock car. You'll see the 94 out there, Chris Danielchuk, week in and week out. They call him Mayor McCheese. He's in the McDonald's fire suit if you see him down there in the paddock. But if you want to get involved in that and want to drive one of those cars, it's pretty affordable, and it's going to be an awesome time. I can guarantee it. You will be an actual NASCAR race driver, and you'll be entered into the race. Your name and everything else, you will get to drive in an event. It is a phenomenal program that is Rent a Race Car over on Facebook if you want to try it out. If you don't want to drive and you want to just ride along, there's a 2-seater modified. I'm sure that will be back up and running this year. But absolutely phenomenal programs to get involved at Stafford Motor Speedway. There's other programs to drive as well. The Rusty Wallace Driving Experience comes in. They are third party, but they do a phenomenal job. I've driven in that before. It is an amazing time. You get to drive actual race cars. So if you are feeling the need for speed, there are plenty of opportunities at Stafford Motor Speedway to get involved. So go and check them out. All of this information and more is available on the Stafford Motor Speedway website, so be sure to check that out. We're also on social media. Be sure to follow us there and subscribe here on YouTube where you are watching.
One guy you got to keep an eye on right now is starting in that 8th spot outside of row 4. That's Teddy Hodgdon. He's gotten into a couple incidents, but he's made his way up to 8th. He's made his way in the top 10 after starting back in 13th. He's one of those guys you got to wonder how much damage that car has, but it doesn't seem like it's affecting him that much because he's able to slowly work his way up front like what Narducci did last week. Getting ready for the restart though, they're doubled up right now. Mike Christopher Jr. is blinking a little bit. Pace car pulls off. It's Mike Christopher Jr. and Ryan Blanchard on the front rows. The green flag comes out. Mike Christopher Jr. gets the big jump. He will clear the 9 car off of turn 4. Troy Thomas is going to try and look inside of Blanchard for that 2nd spot. The battle behind them is for the 4th position between Dylan Izzo and Matthew Kimball.
Exactly what Mike Christopher Jr. wants to see is side-by-side battling for 2nd as Blanchard is stuck on that outside. Troy Tallman, though, got really low on turn entry, and Blanchard is going to have the advantage. He clears Troy Tallman. Dylan Izzo now trying to get to the inside of the 50 car. These guys are battling hard. They are starting to get single file, though, and you need to be on the inside line if you're going to be making passes.
Restarts are so critical because these cars are so equal. You want to gain as many positions as possible. Right now, the first battle for position is between Dylan Izzo and Matthew Kimball for the 4th spot. Behind them, Travis Hyder trying to go inside of Kimball as well. Izzo the 4th, Hyder looking for 5th off of turn 2. We got a caution on the track. Yeah, we got a crash. It's Justin Bren and Brad Bubel. Bubel's had some tough luck, and it just got worse. His car is smoking badly. Kyle Johnson also got a piece. George Bessette Jr. might have also gotten some of that wreck. But the 3 main people involved, Bubel, Brent, and Kyle Johnson.
The wreck actually started a little bit further up with the Slim Reaper. Matt Vassar just got into the 88 a little bit. That caused all sorts of checkups. And man, a lot of cars involved there. The 88 took a lot of damage, quite a few hits. So Mikey Flynn, though, managed to snake his way through and did a fantastic job avoiding all that carnage.
Yeah,
let's
Bubel
ride
had
along
nowhere
with
to
you,
go.
Bell.
Yeah, nowhere to go. I mean, that happened right in front of him, and it happened so fast. And it's just tough luck for him, man. He's had an up and down couple of days. He would show a lot of strength, and then he gets stuck in the middle of the pack and gets involved in a wreck. So it looks like his night might be done. Looks like Johnson's night might be done. You're riding on board of Johnson right now as Master climbs up the left front tire. He gets hit from the driver's side door. Cassandra Cole just getting by. Doesn't look like she got too much damage. But cautions breed cautions, Jeff, and looks like Matt Baster's going to the back of the field.
That he is. Race control has given him an end-of-the-line penalty. He will be restarting from the rear. Take a look, though, at that 10th position, and you will find Mikey Flynn. He raced his way in after having some bad luck these past couple weeks, and he's looking to make an impact. Do not sleep on that Hamden Engineering car. They have had some rough luck in real life and on iRacing. This team got beat down quite a few times. They almost had their first SK Light win on multiple occasions, and finally at the end of the season it just never ended up working out. And instead of just saying, oh, we'll come back next season and it'll be fine, they took it to the next level and said, we're not rebuilding another SK Light motor. We're going up to the SK Modifieds and racing with the big guys. Mikey Flynn is going to be driving in the SK Modifieds next year. A lot of guys moving up, but he is certainly one to keep an eye on in this race and every Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway once we're back to the track.
I asked Mikey Flynn actually how he feels, because some people may doubt if he's ready for the SK mods, because even though he came so close a couple times, he did not win an SK Light race despite 2 seasons there full time. He just simply told me, gotta prove him wrong. He thinks he's ready for it and he's excited to try the SK modifier.
The whole team behind him is incredibly hardworking. Not that any other team isn't, but these guys take it to the next level. Absolutely phenomenal work by them. The amount of work that they put in just was unbelievable compared to everyone else this year. They had a lot to do, and they always got it done. Right now, though, jumping up to the SK Modifieds, that's big. And at Stafford Motor Speedway, that is the toughest division. The lights are out on the pace car, though. Mikey Flynn will be restarting in 10th. Teddy Hodgdon, though, is up to 7th. You cannot sleep on him at all. But Mike Christopher Jr., like I mentioned earlier, he is the top-ranked Tour Modified driver on all of iRacing. For the NASCAR Wheel and Tour Modifieds, he is the best of all of them right now. He was the best last season as well. So right now, he's leading the way. Pace car dives off. Ryan Blanchard's still there in second. Mike Christopher Jr. controls this restart. He goes early. Troy Tallman follows him, and he gets to the inside of Ryan Blanchard. Right now, they're side by side for second, and Dylan Izzo is looking to jump into the party.
Yeah, the key is Tallman going to be able to clear the 9-car Blanchard for that second spot? He's been unsuccessful the last couple attempts, but he's got it this time. Tallman to second, Dylan Izzo looking inside for third. Tough restart for Blanchard, getting stuck in that outside line. One car hit the wall hard off of turn 4, and we got a spin behind them. A couple cars going around. I believe Cassandra Cole is one of them. She spun to the infield grass, but the caution does not come out. We keep it going, and the battle remains up there in the top 5. But right now, Mike Christopher Jr. is pulled away to about 0.4 of a second lead.
Teddy Hodgdon looked to the inside of Matt Kimball, and right now he could fall to the clutches of Travis Hydar. He holds him off. Right now, Teddy Hodgdon is all the way up to 6th. They've got a good battle going on for 9th, though. Bryan Narducci is up there. He's battling with that 3-car. Matt Swanson and Mikey Flynn right behind. A lot of strong cars are working their way through.
You're riding on board the 3-car Matt Swanson right now, looking back at Bryan Narducci. Narducci's starting to go. He's starting to move up quick. You know he's got the car, he's got the skill to do it. Can he try and get the 3-car entering turn number 3? Right behind them, Peter Bennett makes an aggressive move on the inside of another car, but holds it back in line. They're single file for the most part up in the top 6-7 cars. But here comes Narducci looking to the inside of Swanson, and he's got the spot.
That's 2 very smart and very aggressive drivers right around Matt Swanson. Bryan Narducci and Mikey Flynn, both of those guys are not afraid to use that road bar and the bars at the front and back. I mean, they're there for a reason, so you might as well use them. Right now, Matt Swanson is sandwiched between that pair, and they are all looking for more, though, but everyone is trying to run down Mike Christopher Jr., who's pulled about 0.4 away from Troy Tallman and is pulling away further.
Yeah, there's only 11 laps to go in the race. The laps are going by quick and the field is singled out, so you wonder if there's going to be a late yellow with the way the field is strung out right now. Christopher Jr. has a different guy in the second spot, though, trying to catch up to him, and that's Troy Tallman in the number 2 car. Tallman has slowly made his way towards the front, but does he have a chance to catch up to that black car?
If you take a look at the lap times, Mike Christopher Jr. in 18.887, Troy Tallman in 18.924. Mike Christopher Jr. about half a tenth quicker per lap. Troy Tallman needs to pick up the pace, but a caution is out with 10 to go.
Yeah, Ryan Fern has spun out in turn 2. I believe that's why the caution comes out. He gets the car going again. But Ryan Fern does spin it around. His bad luck continues in these Stafford E races, but I guess it took a little bit longer. He just got on the apron and lost it. He caught the apron. We talked about how the apron can de-wedge these cars, and he just spun it all by himself. Now we're going to have the yellow out here with less than 10 to go. It's going to be quite a shootout coming to the end.
He actually caught the back bumper of Joseph Eilert there and gave it a shot and spun it all the way around. Managed to keep that thing out of the wall though, so no harm, no foul. He's got some work to do if he wants to get back up to the front. Last time, the last scoring loop has him in 18th position.
Now here we go. We're going to have a few laps to go on this restart. Mike Christopher Jr. has been top-notch getting the jump off of turn 4 every single time. Troy Tallman's going to have to deal with Dylan Izzo for that second spot being on the outside line. Ryan Blanchard, tough luck running second all race. Now he's back to 4th. But looking further back, Teddy Hodgson is up to 6th. Does he have the car? Does he have enough in that 55 car to get up to the front? Narducci recovering from an earlier crash and an end-of-the-line penalty. He's up to 8th. Matt Swanson 9th. Mikey Flynn, after getting caught in a couple accidents, in the top 10. Peter Bennett making his way up to 11th. These are the heavy hitters we talked about that started further in the back. They're slowly making their way to the front, but there's not many laps left. Just 7 to go. I imagine this restart is going to be with about 5 laps left.
That sounds about right to me. And remember, these guys, as important as pride and prestige is to every single one of these drivers, that's what they've been racing for these past couple weeks. All Phases Renovations, they've been following along and said, let's make this a little more interesting. They are tonight's official sponsor, and they've put a purse forward of $250 to be split amongst the top 3. The winner, $150 in their pocket. Second place gets $75, and third place, $25. Everybody wants a share of that, but only the top 3 can get it. All Phases Renovations is in southeastern Massachusetts. Go ahead and give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs. Patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. Go ahead and visit them on Facebook as well, All Phases Renovations, or give them a call for more information at 508-332-6316. Make sure you give that page a like on Facebook. It is All Phases Renovations. They are a huge help to us here tonight, and they put forward a purse to make this racing a whole lot more interesting.
And it's going to be very interesting what happens on this restart. Let's give you the lineup here of the cars in the lead lap. Mike Christopher Jr. is the leader. He will choose the inside for the restart. It'll be a 4-lap shootout. Troy Tallman second, Dylan Izzo third, Ryan Blanchard fourth, Matthew Kimball in fifth, Teddy Hodgson sixth, Travis Hyder seventh, Bryan Narducci eighth, Matt Swanson ninth, Mikey Flynn in 10th, Peter Bennett 11th, running in 12th is Kyle Johnson, Matt Basser in 13th, 14th is Jacob Perry after running a top 5 for most of the race. He's kind of fallen back. In 15th is Joe Eilert. We got Cassandra Cole, Ryan Fern, and Tony Membrino. Here we go.
Mike Christopher Jr. gets the inside rolling, but Troy Tallman on the outside has got a great run. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it work on that outside as they're fanning out behind. Narducci gets pushed all the way to the outside, but they're side by side for the lead. Dylan Izzo thinks about going 3 wide and thinks better of it. He's going to sit right behind Christopher Jr. and hope the inside line works as well as it has all night. They're side by side for first right now, though, with just a couple laps left.
Got trouble in the middle of the pack. We'll see if that brings out the yellow, but right now up front, Mike Christopher Jr. is trying to get the lead from Tommy. He pushes up off of turn 2. They're 3 wide for the lead. Look at the inside. It's Dylan Izzo. Where did he come from? From third to first. He takes the lead. The battles for second as they cross the line and take 2 to go.
Mike Christopher Jr. has led every lap up to this one, but he only needs to lead one, the most important one, the last one, and right now he's sitting in third. 2 laps to go. Dylan Izzo started in 5th, coming all the way up to 1st right now. White flag is in the air. Oh my goodness, Dylan Izzo could win it, but Troy Tallman is certainly going to have something up his sleeve.
What's Troy Tallman going to do? You know the bottom shot move in turn 3 is an option. We'll see what now. There's half a lap to go. Tallman looks low. Izzo gives room. Tallman gets spot from behind by Christopher. They both push up. Christopher's got the lead. Christopher's going to win. Mike Christopher Jr. crosses the line and takes the win. He gave Tallman a bump. Tallman went up into Izzo, and Mike Jr. ends up in first. Holy smokes.
How does that happen? Troy Tallman mistimed the move and checked up more than Mike Christopher Jr. was anticipating. And I think Mike Christopher Jr. planned to give him a bump as well. But oh my goodness, Mike Christopher Jr. now pulling it down towards victory lane. But let's take a look at the replay.
Wow, Mike Christopher Jr. lost it and got it back. Unreal. This is coming off of turn 2. There's a half a lap to go here. Tallman makes the move to the inside. You think he's going to do it, but he backs off. Christopher Jr. gets into the back of Tallman, takes out Izzo, and in the end, Mike Christopher Jr. comes out in the first position and gets the win. You knew he was the favorite. He had the chance, led most of the race, but who would have thought that he would have won the race like that? Look at Tallman on board with that 2-car, trying to hang on after getting bumped from Christopher, and he ends up getting Dylan Izzo on top of his engine. Wow.
We have not heard anything from race control. Looks like it's going to be a racing deal. They're all racing for the finish there. Mike Christopher Jr., man, Troy Tallman sent it in and he just checked up a little bit, thinking, oh, I don't want to wreck him. And Mike Christopher Jr. said, to hell with it, I'm going to win $150. Right now, he's the winner in first place, Mike Christopher Jr., $150 thanks to All Phases Renovations. Matthew Kimball is going to score $75 and finish second. Ryan Blanchard raced his way in and a pretty good payday, $25 going through the rest of the grid. Travis Hydar in fourth, Kyle Johnson in fifth, Matt Vassar in sixth, the Slim Reaper that is. The 22 finishes seventh, Cassandra Cole in eighth, Teddy Hodgdon in ninth, and Bryan Narducci rounds out your top 10.
Still trying to talk with race control and see the outcome of that one, but right now Ryan Fern is in 11th, Matt Swanson scored in 12th, Justin Bren comes home 13th, Troy Tallman after that last lap excursion is 14th, Dylan Izzo 15th, Joseph Eilert 16th, Peter Bennett 17th, Mikey Flynn 18th, Daniel Coutu 19th, George Bessette Jr. 20th if we get to these guys who ran into trouble and couldn't finish the race or finished many laps behind. Running in 21st at the end, Brad Bubell, Tony Membrino 22nd, Marcello Rufrano 23rd, Jeff Rocco 24th, Cory DiMatteo 25th, and Glen Reen 26th. But we just got word, Jeff. We just got word Mike Christopher Jr. has been penalized for over-aggressive driving. The winner is going to go to Matthew Kimball. Matthew Kimball, who came in from the Wednesday feature race, is going to win tonight. Mike Jr. has been disqualified. He's going to finish the back of the lead lap cars. Wow. Matthew Kimball is the winner.
Matthew Kimball is officially your winner, but let's go to a break here as we get this all sorted out. Be sure to stay. We're going to get the story on the Well, we had an absolutely amazing finish there at the end. Now, Race Control has laid down the law and said that Mike Christopher Jr. has been disqualified after that for over-aggression. The winner is Matthew Kimball. We have second place Ryan Blanchard here tonight. Ryan, you raced your way in from Wednesday night. You ran second most of the night. What were you thinking there as you were getting ready to race your way into this event all the way at the beginning? Were you expecting it to go this well?
The event went pretty good, and the fans race wasn't as good, but I had a feeling that this race was going to be a lot better, especially with all the zero fast repairs and stuff. I knew we were going to get a good green flag run like we did, and it sucks. We were in second and then got doored up the track into the wall by Tallman, but I'm not gonna give him any harm for that. It's racing, not gonna do anything.
Well, you had a fantastic run here tonight. You did Wolfpack Motorsports proud, though. Really, all I can say is that was an absolutely phenomenal run here. What were you expecting at the beginning, and then compare that to what you were expecting at the end when it was just one lap to go there? How did you see that from your perspective?
From lap one, I just knew I needed to save my tires for the end, and I just wanted to run at Mikey's pace. And then with one to go there, I was just trying to get back in line. I was stuck on the top, and Teddy let me in, coming to the white flag, and I was able to maneuver through that somehow. I have no idea how, but we came home second. That's all I got to be proud of.
Who do you have to thank for a second place finish here tonight?
First and foremost, I got to thank everyone at the rally point: Chase, Kevin, Tanner, everyone else that's there watching me right now. My mom and dad, Epic Media, Wolfpack Motorsports, Brendan Wilkinson, Teddy Hodgdon, Jon Puleo for spotting me after he couldn't make the race, and yeah.
Well, congratulations on a second place finish here tonight. You raced your way in on Wednesday, and you did a fantastic job running near the front all night. You're coming home second. The last question that I have for you is, what are you going to do with that $75 from All Phases Renovations?
Probably just put it in my bank account for right now and just save it until this quarantine stuff's over.
Sounds like a good call. Congratulations on that second place finish here tonight. You ran.
Maybe I'll go drink beer.
Race. As long as it's from the double hook loud, the double hook bar. There you go.
Yeah.
Let me ask one quick question to Blanchard before you go. You were dominant during the feature race on Wednesday, getting you to this spot. What does it mean to you to be able to compete against these Stafford regulars and come home P2 at the
It feels really good. I've raced Mike and Bryan and all them guys before, but to race at Stafford and be good is something to be proud of. Those guys race there every single week, and just to be on the track is just an honor. iRacing just does a great job. Just giving us everything we need to do.
All right. Well, hey, congratulations on P2, and we hope to see you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That's Ryan Blanchard coming home P2 after the penalty to Mike Christopher Jr. Travis Harder came in third. We'll see if we can get him to come in here soon. Also trying to get Matthew Kimball, but man, Jeff, last week was pretty dramatic, but it just seems like every week it just gets more and more intense.
Absolutely phenomenal racing here tonight. Let's wrap this show up, though, and we will see you again next Friday night. Right now, thank you again to all of our sponsors, All Phases Renovations, for sponsoring this race here tonight. Napa Auto Parts, Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, Mid-State Site Development, Call Before You Dig, Lincoln Technical Institute, Spark Virtual Reality, and Maybury Material Handling. Thank you to the organizers, Stafford Speedway and Arute especially, who's been working so hard behind the scenes for us. Thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And thank you to the team today, Jeff, Bonsa, Sean, and Dougie, all doing a fantastic job here tonight to make this show possible. Be sure to shoot all of them a follow on Twitter to stay up to date. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, or on Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to the GSRC YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well so that you don't miss a moment on the Global Sim Racing channel. Our next race at Stafford Motor Speedway is going to be next Friday night. Make sure you're watching. We saw an absolutely phenomenal race tonight, and we're going to see even more better racing next week. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. On behalf of everyone here at the Global Sim Racing channel and the Arute family, good night, everybody.